All right, welcome back to episode 114 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy, fresh off an airplane.
We already having production issues. I hit the wrong button. Started sharing my screen too early. Gong show all the way. It's 1,000 degrees in Minnesota. Josh is at a cabin that doesn't barely have any air conditioning. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm fresh off the plane to home to show.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we'll get into that. Yeah, I'm in northern Minnesota where the weather is not supposed to be 100 degrees at this time of year. And so I'm in one of the only buildings with air conditioning. And then I just turned it off because it's kind of loud. And we didn't want it to sound like I was in a wind tunnel this whole episode. So we were just joking. We'll see how long I make it. If I fall over and pass out, if it becomes a sauna in here or something like that. Yeah, in Minnesota, we say sauna. That's how we say it. But big show for you today. We've had a lot going on. We're all over the place, flying all over the globe, traveling everywhere. But we're here. We're excited to talk about hockey cards. But before we get into it, just a real quick reminder that the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a Patreon podcast. That means we rely on support from listeners like yourself to help us cover expenses, continue to produce more and hopefully better hockey card content, and to produce or fund initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hockey hobby. There's a couple ways you can support us via Patreon. We have a $1.99 support level tier that starts at $5 a month, or up to our Triple Gold Club. You get access to the Hockey Cards Gong Show Discord server. You can participate in our 5K challenge, chat with us and the rest of the group in Discord on a daily basis. We have a lot of great conversation. I think we learn a lot from each other too. So I really enjoy our community. It's super easy to do. All you got to do is go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, and at the top of the page, there's a Become a Patron link. Or you can go to the Patreon website at patreon.com and search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. There's a link in the show description for whatever podcast app you might be listening to us on. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, there's a link in the description there too. And finally, on our Instagram and TikTok profile in the link tree, there's a link to our Patreon there as well. We have one new member since our last show, MNadu02. Thank you very much for a new Auto 199 member. Very, very much appreciate your support. And with that, Troy, you ready for the game plan?
Yeah, before we do the game plan, did you see behind me? See the banner? I got the banner up.
Nice.
I didn't have enough time to try to fix it and make it look like it's taking up the whole screen, but I kind of like it. This is the banner we got for the card show. Fun time.
There you go. See, look at us multi-purpose our assets.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, on today's show, we begin with the greatest NHL player to wear number 14. Next, we have an interview with Billy Celio from Upper Deck, where we talk about the recent release of 2022-23 metal hockey, along with a whole bunch of other topics. Another great interview. Stick around for it. You'll learn a bunch of stuff. Billy was really kind with all the information he shared with us. Then, Josh, on a whim, I decided to go to the Burbank Card Show, I guess. So I'll spoil everything right there. But I will give a very brief trip report on what I experienced at the Burbank Card Show. Then it's off to hobby news, followed by new product releases. We end the show with mailbags and personal pickups. I'm not even going to act surprised that we have personal pickups again, since it's been so many episodes in a row. We are just buying like mad lately.
It's what we do, Troy. It's what we do.
It is what we do. All right, we are on episode 114. So we are going to do hockey's most famous number 14 and the greatest NHL player to wear number 14 per the Hockey Writers' greatest NHL player to wear each number article is this guy, Brendan Shanahan. Runners up were listed as Dave Keon, Jamie Benn, and Justin Williams. I feel terrible. I didn't even know who Justin Williams was. I had to look him up.
Who was he? I don't either.
I just looked him up real quick to see what his stat line was, because I thought Dave Keon, I know he's got a huge following in Toronto, and I wanted to see what his stats were, and I looked up Justin Williams, but I think Shanahan's a good pick for number 14. And I just want to say this. This one might be a little long. I'm just going to warn everyone, because I thought I knew a little bit about Shanahan, and then I started researching him. Holy cow, this one was fantastic. Just the fun facts section's a little long, but there was a lot of fun stuff to read about with him, and he's a pretty interesting guy, really great player, but I learned so much. So just a little warning, this one might run a little long, so I apologize. All right, here we go, Josh. Overview, left winger. I'm just going to say Canada because I'm so confused where he was actually born and where he grew up. I think he was born in, I'm going to say it wrong, Mamiko, Ontario, and grew up in Etobicoke.
It's Etobicoke.
Etobicoke.
I don't know.
Now, they're in Ontario. I believe maybe both of them are part of Toronto now. I'm going to apologize profusely to our Canadian listeners, our Toronto listeners. I didn't understand it. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Maybe they're suburbs. Maybe I'm just a dumb American. I can't realize what suburbs are in Canada. But again, I apologize if I got that completely wrong, but that's what my research kind of showed me.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you think it might be like a law in Canada where you can't grow up in the town you're born in? Have we ever talked about
we've had
these guys?
Oh yeah, a lot of them have. I actually I thought about that because I went back and looked at a couple. But yeah, it's crazy. It's just like the US, so you get different families. It's just crazy. So all right, Shanahan, second overall draft pick in the 1987 NHL entry draft by the New Jersey Devils. Josh, the first overall pick in the 87 entry draft was Pierre Turgeon, who, guess what, will be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame this year in November. I just thought that was fun.
He's going to be a signer at the Expo too, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think
he is.
All right.
Yes, for sure.
I missed all that news. Good thing we cover it later in the show. All right, Shanahan played 1,524 regular season NHL games over a 21-season NHL career. Shanahan began his playing career with 4 seasons with the New Jersey Devils. He then played 4 seasons with the St. Louis Blues. Next, he played 1 full season and then 2 games of his second season with the Hartford Whalers, or second season with Hartford, not a second season in the NHL, before being traded to the Detroit Red Wings. Ended up playing 9 seasons with the Red Wings. He then went on to play 2 seasons with the New York Rangers. He then played the last season of his career with 1 season back at the New Jersey Devils. So kind of moved around. I think he's most recognizable as being with Detroit, playing for Detroit, but he's kind of moved all over the place, a lot of different clubs.
He's good for the Immaculate Grid tray.
He is a good player for the Immaculate Grid. All right, his awards and accomplishments. He's a Hall of Famer, 3-time Stanley Cup winner, 1-time Clancy Award winner, 2-time NHL First All-Star Team Selection, 1-time NHL Second All-Star Team Selection, 8-time NHL All-Star Game Selection. Named one of the 100 greatest NHL players by NHL.com, and named one of the top 100 players in the NHL expansion era by The Athletic. Again, going over his awards, he's one of those guys who was extremely good, but never got recognized with any of the big individual awards.
Well, it seems like he's like a great second or third best player on your team, right? No, I'm not. Yeah. That's not a dig. He was never the leading man, but always a really good sidekick.
Yeah, longevity. He led. Well, actually, he did lead his team in 5 or 6 seasons in scoring. So I could be wrong. Over the course of his NHL career, 656 goals, which puts him 14th all time. 698 assists, which puts him 59th all time, tied with Dave Anderchuk. Total points was 1,354 points, which puts him at 28th all time. Made the playoffs in 19 of his 21 NHL seasons, compiling 60 goals, 74 assists for 134 points in 184 NHL playoff games played. Shanahan scored 50 or more points in 18 of his 21 seasons.
Jeez.
It gets even better. Shanahan scored 20 or more goals for 19 straight seasons, which is second all time behind Gordie Howe's 22 straight seasons of 20-plus goals. I had no idea. I'd have never got that trivia question if you asked me who was second. He also had 2 seasons with 50 or more goals. The best season of his NHL career from a point standpoint was his 93-94 season, where Shanahan had 52 goals, 50 assists for 102 points in 81 games played. So Shanahan, go ahead.
I just want to get back quick to kind of that where he stood on his teams, and you did the research, so you would know better than me. I guess maybe I just think about him on Detroit, and I guess the way that I equate it is where you'd fit on, where you'd be on the movie poster.
Yeah.
Right. And so in Detroit, it would have been Steve Yzerman.
Yeah.
As the marquee star, and then also starring Brendan Shanahan. Is there any team that you can think of or situation where he would have been the marquee guy?
Well, I think when he
on
was
the movie poster,
I think we started with the Devils. He was pretty good,
maybe.
Pretty good right away. But yeah, I mean, he definitely was. I'm pretty sure he was the leading scorer on his team a couple times. But yeah, he's just a fantastic player and a point producer. Now, Shanahan is our second player in a row who's considered a power forward. In fact, he is arguably the greatest power forward in NHL history. He was a combination of a truly physical, goal-scoring forward. Shanahan had a wicked quick release wrist shot, the ability to muscle his way into open space to make plays happen. He was also a battler that would work in the dirty areas in front of the net to create offense. And then there was his willingness to punish opponents and, if needed, drop the gloves, which, according to hockeyfights.com, he did 90 times. I would have never guessed he fought that much, but that just shows what he was. He was a bruiser. He was not afraid to throw down. In fact, this is the best line I read from NHL's the top 100 player profile they did on Shanahan. A leader on the ice and in the dressing room, Shanahan had the presence of Eric Lindros, the shot of Brett Hull, and the toughness of Bob Probert. I mean, what else do you want? Yeah, what else do you want? Yeah. That sums it up pretty good. And while Shanahan's playing career was definitely impressive, he's also making a name for himself with his post-retirement NHL positions. And I kind of forgot all the stuff he's done already as a front office person. So after he retired in 2009, he was named the NHL's Vice President of Hockey and Business Development. Then in 2011, he was named the NHL's Senior Vice President, which that made him the NHL Chief Disciplinary Ruler, as he was the one to hand out punishments for incidents that made it to his desk, which is kind of funny for how physical and how many penalty minutes he had in his career, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Didn't the NHL used to do videos?
They did. So Shanahan, I think, started that where he would narrate a video and show what happened, what they saw, what the ruling was, and then just say what the punishment was or if there was no punishment. But yeah, I don't know if they still do that. Do they still do that? I haven't seen it lately, but I don't check so. Out. But yeah, that was pretty helpful when he did those. In 2014, Shanahan was named the Toronto Maple Leafs president and alternate governor, a role he still currently holds, and has been credited with turning the Maple Leafs around with I'm going to screw this up.
Banana plan?
The Shanahan plan. I want to say like banana plan or something. Shanahan plan, something like that. There's still work to be done, obviously. Hey, but at least they made it past the first round this season. Now you got to go up. Now you got to get to the second, third, get to the cup.
Can I ask you a dumb question?
Sure.
Basically every question I ask is a dumb question, but what does alternate governor mean? Are the Maple Leafs like Green Bay Packers? Are they like
the NHL? The NHL is ruled by a board of governors, which I believe just means the owners. The owners are the governors. Alternate governors, I believe, are who would go in their place if there's a rule or some kind of like a vote or a meeting, or because they'll have the board of governors meetings. I believe it's just the NHL owners, which are called the governors, and then they obviously have or assign alternate governors to also represent them. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things people forget about with hockey, or the board of governors. But I think it's just
when they go to a meeting, do they say, "Hello, governor"?
Yeah, hello, governor, and they bang on the gavel and scream at each other. All right, so that was my little bio on Shanahan. Obviously a fantastic player, but I mean, seriously, he's in the Hall of Fame. If his career keeps going as an executive and maybe wins a cup or two, he might go into the Hall of Fame again as like a builder. I don't know if that is possible, but he's done a lot of really good things, and we're going to get into that. It's fun fact time, Josh. This is going to be long, and I apologize, but I'll go through it fast. Why did Brendan Shanahan wear number 14? I have no idea why he wore number 14. I couldn't find any reason for it, but he wore 14 for his entire career at Detroit and his 2 seasons with the Rangers. That was it. With the other teams, he had a different number. But
okay.
So that's all I could find on 14. His nickname is Shanny, but he has said Scott Gomez tried to give him the nickname the Big Smooth, but it never stuck. How do you feel about the Big Smooth?
I wish that was my nickname.
Yeah,
I don't think it would
I like
stick
that
either.
I like that nickname. It's kind of funny here reading the article where he's talking about it and just kind of ripping on Gomez for coming up with it and still calling him that, even though no one else does. All right, here we go. Shanahan is the only player in NHL history with over 600 goals and 2,000 penalty minutes. He would have not been my guess. That was crazy. I actually went and verified that too because I read that. I was like, okay, I got to see this, make sure. Now, Josh's favorite stat. Yes, Josh. He is a triple gold member. He has won an Olympic gold medal, the World Championship gold medal, and a gold Stanley Cup, I guess. Silver Stanley Cup that somehow has become gold in the triple gold club.
In my defense, 0 people have chimed in and explained how that makes any sense.
Maybe the first. I don't know. I can't even make up a funny bit on why it makes sense. All right, Josh. He was the inaugural winner of the Mark Messier Leadership Award, which at the time it was first given was a monthly award. However, after being awarded for 5 months, it became an annual award. Because I was so confused because I knew it was Chris Chelios won the first Messier Leadership Award, but that was for the year, whatever year it was first given. But before, there was 5 months in that year where they gave it to a monthly award, and Shanahan was the first one to win it. Here we go. This one is kind of goofy. The time between Brendan Shanahan's departure from and return to the Devils was 17 years, 294 days, the longest gap in tenure with one team in NHL history. Now, that's from Wikipedia. I'm just going to say that. I tried to verify it. I did my best, but that's a pretty crazy stat.
That's amazing.
Yeah. 17
it's like
years.
A generation in between stints.
Yep. He is second all time in Gordie Howe hat tricks with 17. I know I've said who's first before, but it's Rick Tocchet, in case anyone wants to know. I think Tocchet had 18. Shanahan's media guide entries were stuff of legend. According to various media guides over his career, it has said that Shanahan served as Ireland's backup goalkeeper at the 1994 World Cup, appeared in the movie Forrest Gump, failed a screen test for the role of Dino in the film The Flintstones, worked as a ball boy during Andre Agassi's matches at the U.S. Open, played saxophone at the Canadian Jazz Festival. That was the last one that I could find that was really funny. But again, none of these are true. And you got to believe Shanahan was getting those all slipped in because I heard last time I read, he was a pretty good prankster and a jokester. But that just cracks me up that he got that stuff into the media guides.
Was his music name Duke Silver?
Duke Silver, Parks and Rec. Yeah. And the final kind of interesting fact, more than a fun, well, it's a fun fact too. During the 2004-05 NHL lockout, Shanahan helped engineer a summit in Detroit, which has been named the Shanahan Summit, with a group of hockey's top minds to discuss improvements to the game. Among their recommendations that have been adopted by the league are no-touch icing, tag-up offside rule, the trapezoid behind each net, which I hate. Troy interjects his personal thoughts, and the delay of game penalty for shooting the puck directly out of play from the defensive zone. The summit also led to the establishment of the competition committee, which gave players a say in rule changes.
Cool.
So again, another thing, even during his playing career, he was already got that mind for the game, the business, maybe things to make it better. Sorry, that was not the last fun fact. Last fun fact is he has 109 game-winning goals, 7th all-time, tied with Patrick Marleau.
Now that's a stat you should be proud of. Game-winning goal.
Game-winning goals, 109, which is crazy. I'm almost out of breath. My mouth is dry, but we got to look at his rookie card, Josh. There it is. I think we're all pretty familiar with it. We've talked about it before. I think it's been on one of our or a couple of our PWCCs, maybe. It is a 1988-89 OPG, number 122. We always like this one because it has the thumbtack or whatever, the pin with his name. It looks like it was on a kid's wall. I always thought this design was kind of neat. PSA 10 has a pop of 38 on this card
Jeez.
with a gem rate of 2%, Josh, for the OPG copy. And just for some additional stats, now that Josh has started looking at total gems, I need to do that too. Between PSA, BGS, SGC, and CSG, the total gem pop count is 78 total for a gem rate of 3% when you combine them all. So very hard card to find and get if you get it in a raw copy to get a 10. For the PSA 10, the most recent sale is $1,307.17 US via ebay.ca, and verified in Terapeak. The all-time PSA 10 high sale I could find in Card Ladder was $2,760 US via PWCC on December 25th, 2022. Merry Christmas to whoever bought that.
Yikes. He probably is one of the most valuable junk era.
Yeah.
Like most people consider what junk era, either 87 or 88 is the start of it through maybe 92, 93, something like that. Him and Joe Sakic, would those be the two probably most valuable ones?
Yeah. Guys were in what, 84, 85?
84.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Look at the pop and the gem. That's insane. But yeah, well, it's finally nice to have one of these guys that can be on the beginning of the junk wax era, actually have a decent selling card with some value.
Very dramatic photo too.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, is that the longest? That was like 20 minutes.
That was long. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I loved research. It was fun.
It's awesome. Learned so much about these guys. They're just pictures on cards.
Yeah,
a lot of them, and so I think this helps give us a lot of context and brings them to life a little bit, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm sure someone will let us know if Shanahan was like the leading scorer every year on his team.
I'm sure. You idiots! He was so good. Well, Troy, it's part of our back-to-back Upper Deck series, I guess. This is the Upper Deck show now. We had the other day, a few days ago. We don't even remember when it was. It was within a week ago. We talked to Billy Celio. Specifically, we wanted to talk to him because he's the product manager for 2022-23 Metal Universe Hockey, and that's one of the bigger sets of the year. There's been a lot of people talking about it, that's for sure. A lot of people buying it, seeing tons of cards show up on social media, and per usual, Billy was great, had some awesome information. And really what I like talking to these product managers, or why I like talking to them when these sets come out, is it gives you insight as to where their head was at when they were building the set, what they're trying to accomplish, what themes they're trying to introduce. And as a collector, I just find that pretty valuable. So we're going to go ahead and roll the interview now. Hope you all enjoy. Here's our conversation with Billy Celio from Upper Deck. All right, we want to welcome back to the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, Billy Celio, who we just said before we started recording, you have to be our most frequent guest. I would assume, right, Troy?
Oh, by far.
Yeah. So you're the most popular person on our show.
I think I've been on more than Troy has, at least when I've been on the show. See, when you're on here every time, Troy, you get one of those little microphones that Josh has. Otherwise, you're stuck with the headsets like you and I.
Oh, I have a microphone. It's just hidden.
Yeah, ironically, it's your 12th time on the show and first time meeting Troy. So funny how that works. Well, we wanted to have you on today. It's a big day. We're recording on Wednesday. The show comes out on Thursday, of course, but 2022-23 Skybox Metal Universe Hockey came out today. So one of the more anticipated sets every year. And where we got to start, Billy, is when we were chatting a little bit through messages about coming on the show today, you made a very bold statement. You said that this is the best Metal Universe of any of the recent releases. So we're not going to compare it back to 90s metal, but let's start there. Why are you so excited about 2022-23 metal?
Yeah, I can't really compare it to the nostalgia of getting a green Michael Jordan PMG, that sort of thing. What I will say is in the present day hockey ones, we started off, we kind of, dipped our toes in the water, I would say. The next year there was a plan, and I think I've said this before with you guys. There was a plan with Metal Universe not to like n- use all the inserts all at once. Like we're not building Metal Metal Universe retro. We're building Metal Universe, and I want to take some designs each year that people are familiar with, but then I also want to give our designers the opportunity to add to the legacy of specific inserts. And we've been able to do that the last few years. And one thing that we've been able to do is, kind of figure some stuff out and, be able to add more rare hits per box, more variety. That's one thing I'm actually really happy about. Like I made the same statement to Grant, who is going to be on your show or was on your show. I don't know if it aired yet, but will be airing before this show. So if people listen to you guys in sequence, they'll know my boss Grant. And I made the same statement, and he's like, "Well, why do you think it's better?" And I go, "Well, I think you get a lot more variety. I think the inserts, we stepped it up a little bit from a technology standpoint and from challenging our designers to come up with stuff that that we got Jean McLeod in our building now. She's, in charge of our design team, and we got to have some designs that she's going to look at and say, okay, yeah, this continues the legacy that I started back in the 90s for this product. So no pressure to those designers, but now they got the creative mind looking over their shoulder for such designs. But I just think that I think the content is the strongest it's ever been. And like I said, I think the cards look amazing. And that's one of the first things when you look at these cards, and this goes for most metal sets. The reason one of the reasons why a Metal Universe is so popular is you just get the cards in hand, and that's the key. That is the key. Get the cards in hand. There are some inserts that people look at the fact sheets, look at the solicitation, don't get to see how they shine, don't get to see there's embossment on cards, don't get to see the reflectiveness of some of the inserts. And get these cards in hands, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the best example of that from Metal Universe that I can think of is Jambalaya. They until you ever see one in person, you
Yeah.
don't get it. And I think that's been the case throughout the history of that insert. And just in case anyone's not familiar, Gene McLeod from Arena Designs is the person that designed the first PMG and many of the most iconic Skybox, and I think she was at Fleer for a time, inserts from the 90s. So very big get for you guys to add to your design portfolio, I guess your design, your creative muscle there at Upper Deck. A lot to get into with metal, but I want to start with the base card because there's something going on in the background of the base card that kind of reminds me of like what you'd see like in a like an Aliens movie or something like that. Pretty futuristic. Troy, it gives Troy some sort of phobia. What's your phobia on that, Troy?
It's tryptophobia. It's like some, I think it's made up, but it's kind of funny where it's like tiny circles or whatever, and some people can't deal with it. But I
Okay.
actually can look at it and be fine. I think
There you
I've
go.
I've watched a ton of breaks, and yeah, there you go on screen if you're watching on video. Billy's got it showing, but I think they look fine. Like I've watched a ton of stuff being ripped today, and you are right. These cards look fantastic. I'll give you props on that. The whole set so far has looked really good.
What's the inspiration for the base set design?
We challenge our designers. We've had things where there's like little metal plates. Oh, there's Grant walking right past me in the background there.
There you go.
We have like little metal plates, like just something associated with metal, and we really challenged our designer to just come up with something just completely different, completely, off the norm of what people have seen in Metal Universe, because that's what Metal Universe is. It's You're seeing stuff that you haven't seen before, spaceships, planets, that sort of stuff that's not normally on trading cards. And so, we got the design, we did a little bit of tweaking, but this is actually pretty close to, the original design that our designer gave us. I think it's very unique, and it gets your attention, and that's what we're looking for from a Metal Universe base card. And how well does it work with the
Mhm.
PMGs? That's always the other big question, and I think it works out great this year.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll just go into the PMGs then. So, to me, the biggest bonus for today's release of Metal Universe is that we're giving the 97-98 retro a rest, even though I love that card very, very much. But I think it was in the last two releases. And so it's good to have some variety in the PMGs. And so, from what I understand, there's really three different PMG parallels this year. There's the base set design, which could apply to either the rookies or stars or vets. And then you have a 98, 99 retro PMG. Yep, there's the base there.
Hey, if you got me on camera, I'm going to take advantage of
Yep.
it. I've got. Oh,
Yeah, do it, man. Do it, man. And
that's the.
then
Oh,
finally, there's the 2013 retro that is based on the Marvel sets, and kind of have like a anime or graphic depiction of the player that's a little more almost like comic book superhero type, a little exaggerated of their sort of persona a little bit. So maybe just let's start with the big picture and take us through what was your approach with this release to PMGs and what did you hope to accomplish?
well, I agree with you 100% that I didn't want to redo the same retros over and over again. I still wanted to be able to get like some stars in there also and not repeat it. You can't do the same PMG retro design 2 years in a row. And last year we basically just did the rookies, and I'm like, well, I want to get
Yeah,
the veterans back in there. So our answer to that was, hey, there's more than one PMG design that we've made. So we went back and found an old one that I really liked and I thought would work really well, and we created that. And you know I'm kind of myself, Tony, a lot of the product development team, we're kind of a jack of all trades. We've been working in hockey, we've been working in Marvel, we've been working in wrestling, all that stuff. And I've been working on some Marvel sets, and the PMG, like the old 2013 PMG design for Marvel is a beautiful design also. And I was just like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we did I mean, people can be like, oh, there's way too many PMGs. I get it, but it's still a cool card
Hmm.
where we actually use the base design, and I paid for an artist to turn, basically like you said, turn the players into comic book heroes. You make them into Marvel superheroes and or super villains, depending on who the player is and what team you root for.
well, I was going to ask you,
um
Billy, if you just use like that new TikTok filter that everyone has that turns you into a cartoon
oh
character.
no, I wish stuff was that easy. No, we paid some money to get some original artwork done for these guys. And so we have like the original cards that come. I think I have one. Yeah, you got the original one here. It's got the lightning
Yeah.
bolt. There's a bunch of different ones. So you got the original, and I believe these fall one per case. So people get a chance to see these. They're not like hidden, but they're definitely a case hit. And then to go with that, you've got like I showed a few minutes ago, the PMG version of it. So and then there's the one thing. Marvel has a blue PMG, so there's actually blue versions of that also. So we kind of copied the some of the Marvel stuff, except I'm a big believer in the gold 101s. So I changed I believe the 101s were purple for Marvel back in the day. I
Yeah.
changed it to gold just because I want to kind of maintain our new 101 gold PMGs. So I kept it in that design.
Yeah, we saw a
Now,
breaker. I was gonna say we saw a breaker hit the Krill when I was watching, and it looked fantastic. That
Nice.
it looks so nice, and everyone in the room is just going crazy. But those I love those cards. I love the look of them. I've loved them on the sell sheet, and now seeing them in person, they look
Yeah.
fantastic.
that's pretty tough too, case it. And so when you say case it too, that's not even a PMG. That could just be the base of that 2013 retro, correct?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So, like I said, when I built this set, I wanted a variety of rare hits. So there are some cards that are rare that fall one per case. There are other cards that fall every few cases, and there are other cards like I don't want a jambalaya in every case. I
Hmm.
don't want a linchpins in every case. I don't want hot shots in every case. I want some sort of variety to that, to give more rarity to some of the bigger hits. It's not just it's not a guarantee to hit those type of cards in the set. So there are some that are one a case. There are some that are maybe two or three a case. And then, like I said, there are some that are even farther out there.
And then to me, what other than PMG is what I think most about Metal Universe are it's sort of the set that probably gives you the most freedom on the insert side to really get weird, go nuts, try some stuff. Right. We had Cheddar last year. And I guess I think that's where I want to start. So what's the Cheddar of 2022-23 Metal Universe?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, Man, I'm going through the inserts as we speak to to maybe get a feeling for it. Like there's not too many crazy die cuts. Like we have our Tetrid. This is one of the rare hits. It's
Mm.
guys that have scored 4 goals in a game. Um, so that's one. I mean, and then when I say we bring back some, we've got the hot shots. Those are again that you don't even get one of those a case. Um, let's see. What's kind of fun is the jarring is kind of an interesting one where it's just kind of like there's love for your enforcers.
Yeah.
The guys getting oh, here's a good one. The Morgan Riley one's probably the best one. Like that's jarring. That's like, hey, this guy's just getting drilled into the boards. But oh, you know what other one is fun? I like is the house. This is a really cool acetate
Yep.
card. It's got the Spectrum deco foil on it.
Mhm.
It kind of represents, the nickname of this area that where the player is. They call it the house in hockey, and so I really like those cards and how they came out too. And it's kind of shaped in that end of the hockey rink. So that's kind of a cool one also.
So for that one, did you pick players that specifically excel then in that area from the checklist?
That was the direction given. So I'm looking at this. Yeah, it looks like we got some guys that hang out in there and score lots of goals.
Yeah, it's a little shout out to the hockey analytics community too, because we all in analytics, that's all we look at, where the house is and who scores from there, how many shots from there. I was gonna say too, I've really liked. I'm gonna say the name wrong. Were they Palladium?
Palladium,
I thought
yes.
they looked fantastic today when I was watching
Oh,
some breaks get pulled.
no, these are again, it's like we were talking about, it's the same design. You don't want to see the
Yep.
same retro design over again. I think we've and I think I have a wrestling one that I can, well, it's somewhere. We used the same one in wrestling because it was the first time they'd ever
Yeah.
had one. But yeah, this was again challenging the designer. These are
Hmm.
these are sick. There's a lot of clear, but that spectrum just pops. There's not a lot on this card. It's a real
Hmm.
kind of funky die cut to it. But what's on here looks really good in my
Yep.
opinion. I agree. I think these are some of my if you're asking what one of my favorite inserts, this is one of my favorite inserts is how these turned out this year.
Yeah, you don't see too many acetate die cut cards that are horizontal. So I was trying to
No,
think
good
earlier
point.
of other examples. Most often they're vertical, and so I
Mhm.
think that's one aspect that makes that card really unique. One of them I want to ask you about is one of the more common inserts. It's the aspect. So it's a
Yes.
very like white minimalist card where you have the player's head, and then it looks like the outline of the body of that player has a kind of a very skybox a metal sort of finish. I don't know what you guys call that finish, but has sort of like a cityscape
Yep.
in where their uniform would be. What was the inspiration for that one?
The honest inspiration is I saw an old picture of Betty White and it had kind of like her head cut out and it was like this and I'm like that's kind of a cool concept for a card. And so we're like, well, what can we put in? It was kind of like, how sometimes people like put a picture and post like it's cut out, and then they can see the background, the imagery in the background through that part of
Hmm.
the card. That's kind of what the aspects are. Is it's imagine if that's like kind of cut out, and then like the cities in the background, whatnot. So one thing that we legally have to be careful of, and some people don't understand this and be like, oh, why don't you have the Empire State Building in the background? Like Unfortunately, some of these buildings and stuff, you know, legally you can't show them. Some people get away with it. We try to stay away from it. Lawsuits are not fun.
Yeah.
So, you know, we were very cautious on what we use. And there's some that are just like, there's the Everglades in Florida. You know, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but you know, people do know like that's part of Florida. But I think they did a really good job of kind of embracing um, some sort of aspect. See the name there? Some sort of aspect of the city that that the player's representing. I am a little. I saw one of the funniest comments, and I'm kind of hurt. I didn't realize there's no. I don't think there's any Detroit people in the set, and they're like, "What are they going to show for Detroit?" Like a bunch of like buildings. I'm just like, come on, man.
Eight
That's my
Mile.
team. That's my team. Yeah, give me an 8 Mile sign. Give me something. But there's definitely they're rebuilding downtown. They have been rebuilding
Yep.
downtown. It looks nice. But again, legally, I don't know what we can show, can't show. So um, but yeah, I got you know, some examples. Some of them are kind of crazy because like, did you see the Kaprizov
Yeah,
where
Kaprizov's a
it looks
waterfall coming
it
out of his
almost looks,
neck.
yeah, it looks like he has a big waterfall necktie there going on. Like there's that.
That would be Minnehaha Falls, right? Wouldn't you
You
assume,
know,
Troy?
there's Buffalo, you know, you got kind of the city in the
Oh
background. So
yeah.
some of the cities you can show. But here's the thing is if you see this two-dimensional on on a solicitation, you're not gonna. Oh, Pittsburgh, I think is real. I think Sydney got lucky and got a real nice one. You can kind of see there's,
Oh, the
you know,
bridge. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they're really cool card. But again, there's going to be some people that love them, some people that hate them. Not every insert in Metal Universe is going to. Not everyone's going to love every metal insert in Metal Universe. That's a given. I know that every time I build it, I try to come up with some unique ideas and some unique concepts to just kind of continue the legacy of Metal Universe and some of the intriguing inserts that have been there throughout the years. So that's one that, yeah, it was inspired by a Betty White photo, and I think they came out really cool. I
Well,
like them, and it's very simple. Like
Mhm.
it's literally like you said, all it is you know a white background, the player's name, the call out, and the and the metal logo. Sometimes you don't need a whole bunch of stuff if the concept, the rest of the concept is good.
Well, I would even almost make the argument, Billy, that in metal, if you don't have an insert that maybe doesn't hit well and gets panned a little bit by collectors, that you're not trying hard enough. Because like I started, where it's the playground in hockey sets to get weird. You can't experiment in the cup, right? Because that's everybody's
Yeah, good
Fabergé
luck.
egg.
Don't, please do not bring up chemical composition. I learned my lesson. All right, guys.
Let's
I
talk for
get
47 minutes about chemical compositions
yes.
in the cup. But no, and so I really appreciate that. And the other thing I really like about just kind of a big picture statement about metal is as much as I love autographs, actually autograph cards might be my least favorite part of metal. Is that it's the one set that I think really excels just on the design and uniqueness of the cards, where you have the best cards almost are not autographed, where you have the inserts, the PMGs, and to me it's a break from chasing autos, it seems like in every release.
Um, I'm so glad you brought that point up because I know when this came out, the first time you get like an autograph per box, and then it's kind of slipped a little bit from that.
Mhm.
But when I say slipped, what I really mean, we could put an autograph per box, easy. But then I wouldn't be able to put all this cool technology and stuff in it and try new things. I don't know if you guys now the best example of a card that does not is not given justice on the solicitation sheet is the cachet cards here.
Yep.
Um,
We
these are
They
these
look
cards
awesome.
like the rainbow on it is shiny. I don't know if you saw any of the platinum medallion cards in Fleer Ultra, but it's like that
Mhm.
shiny. And what people understand, this is embossed. Like you can kind of see on the back, you can see the embossment of the player and the line work
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff. So
Yep.
these are embossed cards. They're shiny as can be. They're one of like before you would get, I think previously in metal, and this is another reason why I really like this Metal Universe. In previous sets, you would get like one hit, like one kind of what I would consider a box hit per box. And with the way these cards look and came out, and some of the other stuff, you get your autograph, your numbered card, and something like that in a box. But you also get like between these and a few other like rare ratio cards, you'll get a second, hit. And so you almost get like two kind of big hits on it. Plus you get, all the different inserts. There's one insert, here's where I'm surprised you didn't call me out on all my Hollywood stuff and what I like, but we got our all starring,
Yep.
kind of like movie poster here, kind of a play on the all star, but and we have like I think it's the metal ore and the jarring, like those, between all those inserts, you get one of those per box. So they're
Mhm.
fairly, like, a lot of these inserts are rare. And then the other one, I don't think we mentioned, we got a new design on our metallics cards that you can see, similar to last year. We switched the design. We didn't want to keep the same design each year, but again, in hand, man, these cards are beautiful.
Are those the same thickness as last year, or are they thinner?
These are the same thickness in AEW, which I'm sure we're gonna do another hour on
Yeah.
after this. They are a little thinner in the AEW set, but in the hockey, they are, again, nice little thick 120 point card.
What are the new? I think this is hot numbers new, or have you guys done that before?
No, Hot Numbers it's a new design, but these have been done before. The 3D lenticular cards, and there's in the background. It's like there's actual, like, some of his stats from that year. It's not just boring numbers. So each player will have some different numbers going on in the background of their card. That's in the set.
That's what really stood out to me about this card is that not only is it lenticular, meaning that it moves as you rotate the card in your hand, but it does have that 3D depth to it,
Yep.
which I think is super cool. So you've done a 3D lenticular before? I'm
Not
just not
in
aware.
not in metal, like in the 90s. It's
Okay.
a remake of a 90s. That's where I didn't want to pick up the original. I wanted to kind of create our own, and that's what our designer did. I wanted it to be bright too. The other one was, I think, a little bit darker, but I'm like,
Mhm.
give them something when they open it up that they know they got something colorful.
Mhm.
That's the thing, is whenever, I mean, this goes with any but like chrome and stuff like that, but whenever anybody opens up, they want to see color. So I'm like, let
Mhm.
them know they got something colorful when they were in there.
And then another kind of 90s throwback is the Hot Shots, which has pretty tough pack odds. I think it's 1 in 600 packs or something like that. And
Yeah.
what I think of there is the 90s Jordans, which are very, very valuable. And so, yeah, you're showing it on the screen. That's a
Yep.
pretty tough chase right there, that one.
Oh yeah, that's one of those. It doesn't come every case. Like, you're not gonna get like, oh, I got my hot shot for the case, I'm done with that. No, this is one, like, I hope I get a hot shot, or I hope I get a lynch pins. That's another one that man, I didn't. That's a lot of little die cuts that you had to make in that card, but that's another one. Like, again, I try to sometimes bring back some stuff that people do know, and the hot shots is definitely something that people do know. I believe we made this design in the hockey retro set that they built years ago, about 10 years ago. But I don't think we've really seen it since then. So, but it is a sibling, I guess you could call it, of the Michael Jordan one that you're speaking of.
Mhm. And then the linchpins, to me, what's interesting about that is, like you said, there's lots of little die cuts, like linchpins, right, that are all throughout
Yep.
the card. Kind of a cool design, but we're giving a rest this release too to the platinum portraits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and so this sort of replaces that lots of little die cut card in the set
I
then.
did. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, I guess, yeah. We need the little guy that hammers little holes in the cards. Still needed work, so we gave him something new. Um, you know what? Platinum portraits. It's a great insert, and people like it. They don't always necessarily, when you think of Metal Universe, you definitely think of PMGs. When you think of Metal
Mhm.
Universe, you think of some of the cool designs and some of the cool inserts. And Platinum Portraits is near the top of those cool designs and inserts that come, but they don't have to come every year. and we definitely took a break on them this year, just because I wanted to do something else. I wanted to bring in some of the other new, or some of the other uh, cool tech cards that we haven't done before, and that's where you're getting the hot numbers. That's where you're getting the linchpins and stuff like that.
Gotcha. And so the jambalaya is really the toughest chase, but are there any Easter eggs that you don't have to give them away, I suppose, if you don't want to, but
There's your
well, there's one
jambalaya
right
there.
there.
Oh, that's nice.
Ooh.
Very, very cool. Did
You
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 guys put
know
any
what,
Easter eggs in
man?
this?
As much as I love Easter eggs, I loved all like I was gonna make the 2013 design an Easter egg, but I liked it too much. I wanted to show it off. People were really excited about Metal Universe the first year. And I hate to sound like the was it the Baltimore Orioles announcer that was like criticized, or
Yeah.
was gave constructive criticism to his team, but I would say that the first year everyone was really excited about it. I would say the excitement might have dipped a little bit, so I wanted to show everybody everything. I wanted to be like, hey, this is what we got. So I know I usually have some Easter eggs for you. I don't think there are any this time. I think we pretty much showed you our hand, and hope that you like it because we love it.
Well, I understand that to a certain extent because it had been gone for so long and then it comes back and there's a huge amount of excitement. You're seeing PMGs for the first time for some key players that may not have had them since, that have been in the league 3, 4 years, I suppose. By that point, you had the gold PMG come out for, right. And so that was a big hit for people like Ovechkin. And then maybe part of I don't know, Troy, you can chime in here too, but maybe part of the issue with the last release too is as we're in this sort of like weird place in the release calendar where you guys are trying to catch up and you're shotgunning products out left and right, is that it seemed really soon that 2021 came out after 2020 as well, which again is no fault of, I can't really fault Upper Deck because do you want to be behind forever or do we want to get caught up? There's just some things we have to do. And we're kind of in that right now where it seems like every other day we have a new it's hockey release. That's a little bit like a whiplash factor, I think, for some collectors. But yeah, I mean, I opened a box and or two and really enjoyed this one.
I'm gonna really enjoy watching those daily Instagram posts, seeing how you did.
Yeah,
No
we did a little
spoilers.
bit
No
better than
spoilers.
normal. We typically do really, really poorly. But I got some other things I want to ask you, but is there anything else on metal that is important for people to know before we transition?
Yeah, I don't think the Beniers 1 of 1 has been hit yet, so that's good because
That's good.
I think the Caulfield got hit, or the Zegers got hit, like literally like hours before the product was even gonna release. You're just like, seriously?
Yeah.
Like that's already out there. And I hate to say it, but that sometimes can affect a product if they feel the
Yep.
big hit's not there anymore, that they don't have a chance for it. But so as of now, this being we're taping a little early, it has not been it has not been found yet.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of big cards on social media, but I think I've seen a red veneers, maybe a base. I don't know if I've seen a retro. I'm trying to
The
think if
the
I
only
saw gold Matthias Michelli. That's the one gold I
I would
saw.
say I saw Gold Zegers, but it's a second year Zegers, so I'm a little
Mm.
more comfortable with that.
Gotcha. Well, we're kind of at this, like I said, we've had these products that have come out literally one after another. It seems like for a couple of months, which is good in so many ways, and has been actually a lot of fun and helped the summer go by a lot faster. But now we're getting into the fall. We're a few weeks from camps opening. We've got the flagship, with the new configuration coming out in November. What do people have to look forward to between, I guess, right now with this metal that just came out and when Series One comes out early-ish November?
Well, Black Diamond just came out not too long ago, I think
Yeah.
like a week ago. So that's been doing really well. That looks really nice also. It's almost like I don't want to say a high-end Metal Universe, but because it uses some of the same technology with the light FX foil. But that just came out. You've got a couple big boys that you've been waiting for, Premier and
Yeah.
Ultimate, from 21 22. You guys have been very patient. We appreciate it. Like you said, we're just trying to get this stuff out as quick as we can. Thicker cards, laminated cards, stuff like that sometimes take a little longer for vendors to make. And as I said, we're kind of behind right now, still trying to catch up. I think Grant kind of gave you a timetable that
Yeah.
we're still in that catch up mode. So we're excited about those two products coming out. When those two come out, then sometimes another one comes out not too long after that. So who knows? Well, by that I mean clear cut. So uh, you'll probably see clear cut pretty soon. Parker's just came out on
Yeah.
EPAC today. It's an
EPAC.
EPAC exclusive. That's a fun one. There's some sets that are there for the whales. There are some sets that are there to have fun. I think the achievement program is very unique and a lot of fun. So, and there's a lot of really cool cards that you can get by stacking, by collecting full sets. That's kind of what we like to encourage on our EPAC platform, is set collecting, is player collecting, and stuff like that. So we like to reward people with achievement cards. So Parker's definitely has a lot of that available. Um,
So I have a
and
question
then
about Parkhurst. If it's EPAC exclusive, does that mean that there will or will not be a retail version of
there's
that?
there's no retail. There's no retail this year.
Okay.
We've had retail in the past, and we have other sets coming out. We've added retail components to other sets, and there's only so much our vendors can, or our retail people can put on their shelves. There's only so much shelf space, is what I'm trying to say. So we just felt that could give them other options. So we now just have it as an EPAC exclusive.
And is Clear Cut, is that your product?
Yes and no. So I think it's been announced that 21, 22, and 22, 23, I think, have been combined.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, I built the first half, I guess you could say. So all the cards you like, I think, are from mine. No, just
Oh, okay.
kidding. I'm totally joking. Um, yeah, if you like Caulfield and those type of rookies, then you'll like my stuff. If you like Baldy and Berniers, then you
Sure.
might like the other guy's stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but yeah, it's a combination of two people. With as I said, with our ever growing releases and licenses and stuff like that. I kind of been sharing the wealth, myself and Tony. We've got Patrick and we have Matthew also helping build hockey cards and entertainment cards. So yeah, I don't have all the hockey products I used to have. I still have a lot of the flagship stuff, but they definitely have been a huge help and have been growing as product development players also.
And we've talked about this a little bit before, but I think it's worth bringing up again that you build these sets long before they ever come out. Like, so 2022 Metal, which came out today, of course. When did you sign off on that? Like, when was that the designs and set configuration all completed?
This one, it's been a while. It's been a while. Like you're talking, because we're at least a half a year late on this. So, um, you know, doing the math, it takes a while. Let me put it this way: on a product that is currently on time, that's been on time. I just finished building 24, 25 Series One.
Wow.
So
Mhm.
if that can kind of give you a time range and schedule, 24, 25 Series One has been built. Now there aren't designs and stuff like that. I've just built the structure of it, put it through our costing. I'm literally writing our brief right now, and tomorrow I'm gonna have our big meeting where I go over everything with all of our departments, and so we can start working on it. But
Mhm.
if that gives you a kind of, because that product's not 23, 24 isn't even coming out for a couple
Mhm.
months. So, we're pretty much on I know in the past we used to say it took like 9 to 12 months, but just to work with the vendors who are just got a lot of work to do.
Mhm.
We're we're trying to put some cushion in there, and so we're pretty much on a 12 to 16 month schedule now when it comes to
Wow.
building products.
So going back on the metal theme, then I assume, or I would read between the lines and say that 2023-24 metal is probably already done.
Why? Why? Yes, it is. Yes, it is,
Nice.
and it's the best metal ever.
Yeah. Well, save that for an interview. Well,
The
16 months from now, whenever that comes up.
the funny thing is, I have a feeling you'll see solicitation for it within the next month or two. Like
Mhm.
we're trying to catch up. So, and if we're 6 months behind here, solicitation comes out, months and months ahead of time, just to kind of get a feel from our distributors and stuff. So, um, yeah, that's been made, and I'm kind of excited about that one too. This is one of the first times I'm actually just really excited about the product I have in front of me. Usually I'll
Yeah.
sit there and say, "Oh, this is great," but next year's is even better. I think we've maintained what we're doing this year, next year, in the product. I'm
Is the
looking at some of these cards,
configuration
and
going to be the same, or are you moving to
yeah,
the newer
no,
configuration?
no. We're not changing the configuration of this. Like I said, we've done stuff like take out autographs to make up for the growing costs of producing cards, which people just do not understand. Like,
Mhm.
it costs thousands of dollars just to put a die cut on a card. It costs thousands of dollars just to add a passive, just to create a die for a foil on a card. So we have to really be aware of how we use die cuts, how we use foils, because those prices have increased greatly. The price of paper, I think the price of paper is finally kind of settling, but for a while there, the
Hmm.
price of paper was going up because people needed materials for different things, and paper was one of those things that they needed it for. And I'm glad it's staying the same. I wish it would go back down to where it was. It would help my job. It would make my job a lot easier. But there's always tough decisions you have to make when it comes to content, just because of the ever increasing price of manufacturing cards. People think, oh, why do prices go up? Well, go to McDonald's and try to find a hamburger for less than $2 now. For
Yeah.
$2. You know
Yeah.
what? I remember, like, how many people sit there and remember, oh, those were like 59 cents or something like
I was just
that.
going to say 59
They're
cents.
they're they're
I
two
remember that
dollars.
too. Yeah. No, I
So
get it. Costs are going up everywhere. So on a day like today, I'm kind of curious about what your life is like. Do you go on and look at breakers, or how do you get a feel for how the set is resonating in the hobby?
yeah, you were definitely lucky to get a hold of me today, because I've already been on with a bunch of shops, talking about breaks. Like, I'll just jump on there. I'm like, hey, how's it looking? And a lot of breakers will, like, I've been on there a bunch. They'll know who I am. They'll recognize the name on the bottom. Sometimes it's a dead giveaway when I put Billy UD as my name, but I'll go on there. And I'll message them. Some of our big breakers, I'll message them ahead of time and be like, "What time are you breaking?" And I know someone was breaking 3 o'clock Pacific time. Someone's breaking 4 o'clock Pacific time. Our fantasy football draft is at 7 o'clock Pacific time. So I'm a busy guy today, but there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I just try to at least dip in there, ask if anyone has any questions. Sometimes that's when I can kind of give away some Easter eggs, but as I said, I didn't really have any Easter eggs this time.
You weren't
Now,
in the Easter spirit.
yeah, did you guys notice, though, on the Flash the Glove, you can see me in the background trying to get an autograph of the. No, I'm totally joking. That's um
Just
again,
Well,
a
put
little.
okay.
powder.
So you said, sorry, Trey, just one more question, then I'll let
No,
you
it's
go.
fine.
But you said that you'll go on, you'll observe breaks, you'll reach out to card shops. What's one piece of feedback about metal that you've gotten today that surprised you?
Um, Someone said that someone tried to tell me the aspect cards were not getting any love, and I'm like, that's funny because I've heard the opposite. I've heard some people
Yeah.
like in comments and stuff saying, "Oh, those cards look really cool." So I did hear that. You can thank Jeremy Lee for that comment, since I know you talk with him all the time.
I think the
Um,
aspects are their talking point. I've heard both. I've heard people like him. I've heard
No,
people
I
not like him.
know, I
Yeah,
know. You're gonna hear both. I
yeah.
honestly, I haven't gotten to hear enough of it. The people here's what I hate. There, as well. I mean, I don't actually. I'm sure all the comments in your guys' posts just basically say, "Great job again, guys," and blah blah. But
Yeah.
you get some people on like our Facebook group where they're posting the photos, and then there's this one guy that thinks he's funny and always uses the fun gauge and posts a picture of it on low because of the little level of the little button, and he uses the same joke on every single product every single time, and it's just like, dude, get a life. That's do you really have to go on our Facebook page and do that every single time? I'd love to comment, but that's not our job to comment. I guess I'm commenting on it now on your show. But people that I'm not gonna buy these look terrible. Blah, blah, blah." They haven't even seen the cards. They don't have it in hand. They're just judging stuff on and the people that judge stuff on what other people say. Now, I, part of me hates that, but part of me is counting on people judging what they think about the product by what I'm saying on your show right now. So I guess it works both ways. But yeah, just some of the people that have just kind of be like, oh, this looks boring, this looks dumb, this looks, not every set's for everybody, but make those comments after you've actually seen the cards
Mhm.
physically in hand. I guess would be my best advice.
Well, I would throw in there too to keep an open mind because I would seriously I've never gone and done a detailed research project on this, but I would assume that not every case of a insert or parallel 20 years from now that sells for $100,000 was universally loved the day it came out. That some of these things, you know, like a fine wine maybe age a little bit better over time. And so, and I think that's part of the fun of being in the hobby is seeing as time goes on which one of these inserts will stand the test of time. And maybe some were more popular out of the gate and will fade away a little bit, and others will gain momentum and really have that nostalgic feel, like I said, 10, 15 years from now.
The people that I know that haven't opened up the product that make comments are the ones that just say it's a bunch of overproduced insert cards and you get one hit a box. Because yeah, there's some insert cards like Bottle Rockets and Flash the Glove and the Aspects that you see. I think that you get five out of those three inserts. You get five cards from there,
Mhm.
but like the insert, like I believe the Aspects, there's 40 of them. You don't get a full in a whole case. I got a whole case. You don't get a full set of those inserts. Like you're not going to see multiples of the same player. Hopefully, if the cards were uh, uh, if the packs were done correctly. And then, like I said, there's other inserts that might fall one a box. Like it's going to take like 10 cases, but you can't tell me those are like mass produced when you don't see them that much. And the retros, yes, you see a bunch of those, but those are nice looking cards. The premium prospects, they're rookie cards. It's a nice affordable rookie card for some people like that want to get maybe they can't afford a PMG rookie card of I'll say Boldy because you guys are Minnesota guys. Maybe they can't get the Boldy PMG green. Man, that's got to be like the grail
Color
for you
match.
Minnesota people. Yeah, the
Yep.
color match.
Yep.
But they can get a premium prospect rookie card of them, and you know that's they buy it for a few bucks and they're happy that they got a rookie card of one of their favorite players. There's a little bit of something for everybody. I think there's definitely stuff for set collectors. There's definitely stuff for some player collectors. Definitely, especially if you're like a PMG guy, and there's definitely some high end stuff for like with the PMGs and the jambalayas and all the other inserts for the whales. So I know you guys do some sort of collectability or whatever rating. I hope it gets a high. I hope it gets a high rating. I'm pushing for it right now. I'm campaigning for some
Very scientific
scores.
formula that goes into that, Billy. That there's things
I
you
see. Yeah,
can't share, and there's things we can't
I see
share.
the
Do that.
dartboard behind you. Come on, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah. How do I feel about Billy today personally? No, that's we never. We try to be objective as well, and that is one of the things
Yeah.
too that I did appreciate about metal, and and I don't, all these sets are so different and unique, and I suppose that's good because it gives different type of collectors stuff that will appeal to them versus others. And sometimes I struggle when it's on particularly the products like Stature is a great example. Stature is an awesome product, but when you get like, what is it, 6 or 8 cards, and you haven't heard of really anyone that are like any of the rookies or any of the hits, it can bum you out a little bit, especially when you spend that much money on a box. And that's the nature of the beast. It's high risk, high reward, sometimes with opening products. But one of the things that appealed to my personality, I'll say, about Metal Universe is you still do get the base rookie. And again, it's a base rookie, or you get the premium prospects. But there's enough cards in the box where you're getting at least some of the good names, whether or not it's on one of the high chase inserts or not. I mean, that's just the luck of the draw. But I did feel like I was seeing kind of the names that it's like, okay, good, you got a Beniers. Okay, good, you got a Slavkovsky. And so I personally appreciate that about metal.
Look, you can't. People that like think Metal Universe sometimes and think of like those $50,000 boxes that I say, and think that what we're going to put out there is a $50,000 box. They're crazy. That's not what we're trying to put out. Where it's one of our technical kind of like mid-tier products price wise, and but the fact that it can make many different type of collectors happy is I think what makes it so successful, because there are the huge hits. um, there are the the easy collectible inserts and sats, and there's still some like mid-tier stuff in there. Again, you've got your metallics cards. I'm not just trying to pump this one, but I'm just saying, like, the checklist is pretty big,
Mhm.
and they're one per case. So if you do some math and try to figure out like how many there are, they're rare inserts. And that's the one thing that was a little disappointing last year. Is I think I remember you guys got to see the metallics cards before they ever even came out, at the expo.
Mhm.
And I was really excited about it. I think some of them did well. I think as time progresses, that might be one of those inserts that people look down the road and say, "Wow, there really aren't a lot of these cards. Like, um, maybe I should add one to my collection." And
Mhm.
then they'll see how hard it is to get one of those cards.
It looks like they have a little more of a rainbow finish to them this year than they did last year.
They're a little shinier, I would say. I I I think maybe it's the spectrum foil as opposed to just regular silver foil. I like I said, I added a few bells and whistles, like you can see on the palladium in the house cards.
Mhm.
Spectrum uh, does a lot more to a card than just a regular silver foil, for sure.
Is that a newer technology, or has that been
Oh
around for a
no,
while?
no, that's been around for a while. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, I know you're busy and we've had you for a while now, but from what's upcoming, what are you most excited about right now personally? What do we have to see how needy we are? You just worked so hard, and we have a new set out today, and I'm already on to you about what's next.
I hadn't built Ultimate and Premiere in a while. Um, and those are difficult ones because, like you were talking, like there's some feast and famine to some of these high-end products. So trying to make sure that you can still add as much value per pack to those cards is definitely a challenge. And we came up with some new concepts, some new inserts that hopefully do it. Some stuff that is eye appealing. I know in like Premiere we have the patchtaculars, I think is what they're called. Inserts with huge like rookie, like you've got your mega patches. I
Yep.
didn't want to do a mega patch for the rookies, but I wanted a big patch for a rookie card. So I think we have our patchtaculars. again, just weird names sometimes I come up with. Betty White had no influence on that insert name, but
Rest in peace, Betty White.
yes, yes, man, how much does that suck? She was so close to 100, and Bob Barker was so close to
Yeah.
100. I do like the joke that people made about he made it as close to $1 without going over
I
because
know.
he was 99. I'm like that's pretty sweet.
If I could live to
But
99, I would take that joke about
Yeah.
me. That's
yeah,
not. You've lived a good life when you've
e-
almost hit 100.
exactly. So yeah, it was fun to kind of revisit those sets and kind of see what my predecessors, that's the people that did it before me, right? That's the
Yep.
big
Yeah.
word,
Yep.
predecessor. Okay, see what my predecessors had done, and then see what I can add to it, because I know they've added stuff to it since I've been there. So what else can I do to it? And then that was kind of fun. And since then I've already passed those on to other people too. So um I had my 1 year of Premiere and Ultimate, and I'm looking forward to seeing how those look. Oh, and Allure's coming out again, I think, pretty soon too. I don't
Really?
know how soon, but I think that's coming out fairly soon. So you might see a few more pixelated trading cards in the future, and there might be more in the works. I don't know. We'll
Well, I was
see.
gonna say next you gotta do like 64-bit or 8-bit or
That people were saying that, but I
8-bit. You can't even tell who it is. It's just like
yeah, just a
jumbled
blob.
mess.
Um, but no, there's some other fun stuff I think in that set also. No, there's definitely Easter eggs in Allure. I can't mention those, but
Yeah.
um, Ultimate Premiere, Allure, I think are some that are coming out here really soon.
Well, I'm gonna say this. You said it on our show. The next Easter eggs has to be where's Billy in the picture. If you're behind doing like looking for an autograph, it's gonna be called where in the world's Billy, and there's gonna be an Easter egg hunt for those. I want to see
And
that.
and I just want to put this out there. Breaking news, since you like Grant's breaking news. In flagship, uh, Connor Bedard will have a 1 of 1 card. There you go. I said it right
Thank you.
there.
Thank you.
Finally said it. Yup. I
That's weird
know.
because at one point you said he
I know.
wouldn't on this show. So
Did I say that? Because
you did.
I am very good at wording things to make
Yeah, I
it
think you
like
wordsmithed it where we couldn't
to,
hold you to
to
it.
give myself an
Mm.
out. I'm very good at that. I've had some girlfriends in the past that I've had to kind of no, just kidding. Um, so
Well,
yeah, I don't
all
have
right, man. Keep pumping them out. We have an insatiable demand here on the hobby side for good cards, and from my perspective, I think you did a good job on the 2022-23 metal release. I've seen 3 boxes, so we'll see how the hobby reacts on the secondary market, but I think it'll be pretty good. I like some of the new inserts, and yeah, it's going to be in a crazy fall for all of us, that's for sure.
Yeah, and don't forget AEW Metal Universe. Today is Metal Wednesday,
Nice.
or PMG Wednesday, or whatever you want to call it, because that's really exciting news for those wrestling fans also that have been patiently waiting. And I mean, when I say patiently waiting, I mean they have patiently been waiting for this product too.
I
And it come
guarantee you Troy will buy a box, won't you, Troy?
and CM Punk is in the set. He is not suspended from trading cards.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yes.
Oh, is that a thing? I don't know
Well, he
anything
got
about
he got
wrestling.
suspended.
Jocelyn,
He got suspended again, unfortunately.
yeah.
Okay.
Hey Troy, is that I can't tell. That looks like a vintage Tigers hat, even though I know it's not a vintage
No,
Tigers
it's
hat.
it's we live in a city called Farmington, and it's Farmington hockey. So
Oh, okay.
we're the Tigers.
I was gonna give you major props if that was a of like
No,
an '84 Detroit Tigers hat. I would have been
I thought you were
excited.
gonna see I can't even do my hand right. The Mallrats box of cards back up on top here. If you could, I thought you were gonna say that. I was like, you got eagle eyes if you could see that.
Oh, and the Mallrats box
Yeah.
back there.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Billy. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Thank
Do
you.
well in your fantasy football draft. We'll be in touch shortly whenever something new comes out, which will probably be tomorrow because it's every day.
Yeah,
It's
and
every day, bro. When it comes
I
to hockey releases now.
I can't I can't wait to see what image you use for me for my picture when you advertise this. You need to step it up another level. I mean, you went hard last time. I want to see, just like I did with Metal Universe. I want to see you guys step up that guest image also.
Well, with Metal, you get to get weird on inserts when we do our show promos with you. That's when we get to get weird. So just be ready. Don't get offended.
You know what's funny, Josh, is I'm so glad people don't read the messages back and forth that we have, because they probably would think that we hate each other. But
no, it's all good, man.
Nothing but love for the Gong Show.
We really appreciate you, and it's awesome, I think, for collectors to get to hear from the source, what the inspiration is behind some of these cards, and helps us understand, I guess, how these sets come together. And I think what's often at times too forgotten is that, that there's a theme to some of these sets, and that they, everything kind of fits together in some ways. And you guys are pretty awesome about being open and talking with people about it. So we really appreciate that.
Yep.
No problem, guys. It's been fun.
All right, Billy.
Sorry to all the people that oh, wait, by the way, speaking of, can you see Jeremy Lee's little head right here? His sticker. I've got my Slab Strong, my Show Your Slabs, Graded Gamer, and then there's Jeremy Lee's head right there.
I got to show you something, Billy, before we let you go. Hot off the press, got just today, Gong Show stickers. You might have one coming your way.
I better get one at the expo, because I put all the stickers of everybody up on there. I might have a few other things up there, like Barry Sanders, Nicholas Lidstrom, Roberto Baggio, Michigan State Sparty. And my girl,
I'm gonna go get my Baggio. I have a Baggio poster downstairs. I had it up in my room when I was a kid. Yep.
You know, my dog's name was Baggio.
Nice.
And it was a girl dog. And people were like, how could you name your dog Baggio? It's a guy. I go, her name's Roberta Baggio.
Yeah, okay? Roberta instead of Roberto.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Sorry. If I'll keep adding stuff.
We're getting
to this
weird.
Conversation.
We're getting weird.
Kick
That's
me
all right.
out.
No, it's all good. I was just gonna say, I'll leave you at this: is that you'll definitely have a Gong Show sticker coming your way, but every time we get the stuff you create, it costs us hundreds of dollars. So I'm just gonna leave you. But you'll get ours for free. That just shows you how nice of guys we are. All right, man. Have a good one.
Thanks, Billy.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Billy. Thank you very much. All right, Troy. Great information.
Yep.
And honestly, and I think too, as I've been reflecting over the last couple of days and thinking about these last two shows where we had Grant Sandground and Billy Celio on, I think it's worth reiterating how smart, frankly, I think it is on behalf of Upper Deck, and good for the hobby that they're willing to go on shows like ours, and to talk so honestly and openly about the content and cards that they produce. Because I don't know, for me, it's really important to have that level of understanding, or I want to know when a sticker auto is usually hard signed and now it's a sticker, what the reasoning is, or why Cole Caulfield is missing from stature, that sort of stuff. So again, kudos to Upper Deck. And I just feel like you don't see this level of transparency from the other card companies.
Agree 100%. And I will say too, it was nice to hear Billy just give his thoughts around all these different cards. Because I will say, I've seen, I think, a lot more commentary. I mean, Metal's a big set. I've seen a ton of comments, both good and bad, about the set, what people like, what they don't like. And it was nice to hear Billy, being the product manager, kind of those thoughts around the card designs. And like you kind of said in the interview, Metal has a spot where it can try some things, try some new weird things. I think is what we said.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that has been pretty prevalent are the opinions on the 2013 retros that have the artistic renditions of players that are a little more comic book or superhero sort of designs to them, and been really interesting to see, because it's pretty polarized, I would say. A lot of very negative people. A lot of people will say, wow, I actually like them. And then I've heard a couple, and again, I don't know if this is people that are trying to outfox the fox, but saying, man, so many people are negative that they feel like maybe it's just a gut reaction, and that we may view these differently 5-10 years from now. And so I think some people are looking at them as a buying opportunity in that way. And I can definitely see some of the feedback about very specific card designs. And out of the gate, you and I kind of naturally more focused on our guy Kaprizov, which I really, really like the design of that card. And so I'll probably end up with one of those hopefully at some point soon. All right, Troy, we got to make a quick mention for Gongshow partner Slab Sharks. They sponsor our show. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Oh, good. Probably good for you to know. Troy, they are a Canadian eBay consignor that is banger, I would say, weekly eBay auctions. They always have really fantastic hockey cards. So I spent some time looking at the auction on Saturday morning, and here's a couple of the cards that stood out to me that you can bid on right now. So there's a 2005 Upper Deck Alex Ovechkin and Ilya Kovalchuk dual auto rookie inspirations out of 199. Both end up pretty good players. Of course, Ovechkin is the much bigger star, but kind of cool when you see these rookie dual autos. Then there's a 2013 SP Game Used Gretzky, significant numbers. It's a jersey auto out of 9. So pretty scarce Gretzky jersey auto there. I really like the design of the card. And I like the fact that if it's a jersey, that at least it's kind of the 99 punch out.
Yeah.
Is pretty cool there. Then we talked about one of these cards a week or so ago. I can't remember what context, but a 2016 Upper Deck Black Austin Matthews Lustrous rookie auto out of 99. With these Lustrous, they tend to have like very like black backgrounds and use different colors. This is a silver auto. Do you like this one better than who's the one we were looking at before?
I can't remember, but I remember what the card looked like, and I don't know if I like
a blue.
Yeah,
I
don't know if I like. I think I like the other one better, but I don't know.
I like these. I'm a Lustrous guy.
Okay. I like. Yeah, I think I like the other one better. I don't know.
Then the last one, Troy, I just had to. It's the sexiest card in the whole hobby.
Nice.
It's a 2017 Upper Deck Clayton Keller UD Canvas Young Guns BGS10 Black Label.
Black Label.
Yeah, I want to have a Black Label something. It'd probably be like a Kaprizov honor roll from like 2022 at some point, but that's probably what I could afford. Very, very cool though. And Clayton Keller's a good player. He's on the rise. I can't imagine this will go for too much. So it might be one to check out. And honestly, Trey, I could have done like 10 more. There were a lot of really, really good cards in the Slab Sharks auction this week. So it's an auction you're going to want to check out for sure. The link is at slabsharks.com. And Troy, if you just happen to be a Canadian hockey card collector and are thinking about maybe moving some of your cards to free up some cash, we'd recommend checking out Slab Sharks eBay consignment services. I think, Troy, they do 2 really big things for you that makes it totally worth going with them. Number one, they've worked incredibly hard to get great cards in their auctions each week. They attract tons of hockey card collectors, so you can be rest assured you're going to get a lot of eyeballs on your cards if they're included in the auction. Plus, they make it super easy to sell your cards on eBay because, well, they do all the work. They take the high-quality images, they list your cards, and I hate listing cards on eBay.
I know.
It's so like, time-consuming and putsy.
It is.
It's just not fun. So it's very cool that they do that too. They answer any buyer questions, they hunt down payment, they ship out cards either to the US or Canada, and then they deal with any post-sale issues that come up, which sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
So you can head to slabsharks.com for complete consignment information, including payout rates, and to get started selling your cards today. Well, okay, so Troy, now we're going to transition into another one of your summer, like 48-hour notice. I'm leaving the state, going to some random, it was card shops last summer. And what day did you decide you were going to the Burbank Card Show?
So I think it was Wednesday evening. I was kind of sitting around and I'm just like, well, it's Labor Day weekend. Troy hasn't done I actually did go to a card show in Vegas that last time in May, but I'm like, I think I need to go do a trip to a card show. And I knew Burbank was going on. And I was like, why not? So got my flight and away I went. Ended up in Anaheim on, what was it, Friday? I got there. Yeah, I got there Friday and went to the show Friday and Saturday. So I have a fun little trip report to kind of give the Troy Iverson take on the Burbank Card Show. And it was at the Anaheim Convention Center. So it was a huge, huge building, tons of halls in that place. They had, well, I'll get into it. So they have the Burbank Card Shows going on, but also, Josh, I did not go to these as much as my wife is like, that's the real reason you went out there. I know it. They had Anime Con or Anime Impulse Convention, and they had Sneaker Expo going on too.
Wow.
So they had 2 other conventions going on. And let me just say this, the anime people were in full force. They had their big get-ups on, the cosplaying. It was actually fun to watch. They were great people watching, but they were all into the anime stuff. But it was a lot of people, lots of people out and about. Like when the shows opened, if you're watching on YouTube, this whole plaza was filled with people, just people everywhere. But
okay, I have a question for you.
Yep.
Really important question.
Yes.
I'm going to give you, let's say, $100,000 cash money, $10 bills. I don't know why. You have to go to Anime Con, but you have to go in full getup, like professional makeup artist. But you get to pick who the character that you go to Anime Con representing. Who is that character?
I don't know. Like, I don't know enough about anime. I do. My kids all watch Naruto, and my son's watching. Is it One Piece, One Punch? I don't know. My daughter was like Sailor Moon. I don't know what I would go as. I'd probably do not anime and go as like Neo from the Matrix or something, or maybe some Marvel. I did see Spider-Man's walking around like full get up Spider-Man's, so it was kind of fun.
Would Pikachu be considered anime?
Oh yeah, there was a Pikachu there. There was a Pikachu running around.
Pikachu.
There was a Pikachu. Hey, there was a Pikachu at the Burbank Card Show, and I'll kind of tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you why. Tell you why right now. So first day of the show was Friday. So I got there Friday, and I got the show about 1 p.m. on Friday. And the first thing I noticed, I really loved the setup of the show. So Burbank Card Show, they had 2 halls or big rooms, basically you want to call them, massive halls. One hall had the sports cards in it, and then they had another that had TCG and the corporate booths. Now, with that whole hall of TCG, that's where Pokemon and all that. So there's Pikachus running around all over in there too. But they had lots of space. On Friday and even Saturday, I'll say this again, on Friday and Saturday, you could freely move around. You weren't shoulder to shoulder the whole time. I actually really, really enjoyed that. And it's not like no one went to these shows. There was a ton of people there. But it was really nice how they had it set up. And if you're
which hall was busier?
The sports card one by far. And if you're on the YouTube, I'm showing like what it looked like. I took a picture, and you can see how much room you had down these big rows. And they had this room was huge. I mean, it was really big. And they just there was always space to get around. I never felt like I was crunched. It was a really nice setup. I think they did a fantastic job on that. So then, now the sad part, obviously, I think a lot of people knew this. I knew this going there. There was not a lot of hockey. Not a lot of hockey. However, friends of the show, masterclass professors, Mitch Grotman and Frank Porco, were both there. They had a booth or had a table together. And they had, obviously, Mitch had his cup cards, and I'm showing those on the YouTube. He had a ton of cup cards there. I think he had 3 cases, if I remember right. And I only took pictures of 2, or maybe only had 2. And then Frank had all his awesome 90 inserts, really nice Gretzky's, a lot of cool cards. So
yeah, I saw Frank's on Instagram.
Yeah.
And his cards are nuts. I didn't see Mitch's, but I'm sure Mitch has crazy cards too.
Yeah.
But Frank's had price tags on him, and it's like, man, you better bring racks of cash if you're going to Frank's table, because there's stuff for like what, $12,000-$15,000, something like that.
Yep. There was some very spendy stuff, but they were definitely representing the hockey hobby. They had great cards. I talked to them. They said it was kind of slow on Thursday, picked up Friday, Saturday, a lot of people. I'd peek by their booth, and there's people talking to them, looking at them. I know I kind of look at their setups, and I could see black felt showing through. So they were selling some cards, which was good to see. I never got a final rundown on how they did, but I feel they did okay.
Yeah.
But again, not a lot of hockey there. These guys were definitely representing. I did find another table that actually Mark from My Card Post, I met up with him. He showed me another hockey table. They had some good stuff there too. And then I think I saw maybe 1 or 2 other cases of hockey that were just kind of mixed in with some football, baseball, basketball, all that stuff. So I knew that going in. Now, time for Troy's a bonehead and didn't do what he should have done. Got there Friday. I go by this table that has a ton of wax. They had 22, 23 OPG hobby boxes, and I'm not kidding, $25. 25 And then
You
they
must have bought them all, Troy.
Nope. And then they had MVP for $20. The new release of MVP for $20. I was just like, well, that's interesting. And then I think Mitch said there was a table that had stature for $110. And I did see overpriced hockey wax around there, but those ones on Friday I saw, I was just like, oh man, I should got those. But then it was such a shotgun moment getting out there that I just packed a backpack full. That's all I had was my backpack with everything. And I was like, well, I don't think I can get like boxes back in or stuff them into my bag because it was my backpack. But then I got to the hotel and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I can figure this out. I kind of rearranged the stuff. I go back Saturday, of course, gone. And they were there all Friday. Those boxes sat there the whole time I was there Friday. So
I bet you they would have done like 10 for 200 too.
Just
like that.
I mean, so dumb on my part. Lesson learned again. If you see something you want early, you better go for it, or else it might end up walking out the door and you won't get a chance to do it.
I don't think I've ever been disappointed with you until right now. Because get it, please.
I know, because you texted me, you're like, grab me some. And I was like, all right, well, I don't know how I can do it. And then I was like, I can do this. Go back Saturday, gone. All right. So Troy goes back on Saturday. Got to the show around, I don't know, 11:45-ish, noonish. And I have never seen a line so long in my life. I'm serious. It was like, at times, I think it was like 500 to 700 people deep, maybe more. It was huge. And one thing, I don't like crowds and I hate standing in lines. I'd hate it. So being me, I just left, went, got something to eat, came back around 12:45-ish. And the line to get in was about 3 minutes long. So that's more my style. So I just went and got some food, came back. Much better. Got in right away. And again, same scene. You had all the anime people running around. I didn't see many sneaker people, but the anime people were definitely out in full force. And then from when I walked around Saturday, a lot more busier. But again, one of those pictures was from Saturday. It was still, you could move around, but there was tons of people again. Again, I just give it great setup. They had a great setup. I did buy a Mike Bossy auto from Mitch Grotman from his case. I'll talk about in personal pickups. Like I said, I chatted with Mark Hill from My Card Post, obviously Gongshow partner, went around with him a little bit. He showed me the other hockey card table, looked at those, kind of talked to those guys. Really interesting. Again, like I didn't find any new tables with hockey. There was very light on hockey. And I did talk to the one guy, and he said that not a lot of people were looking for Anaheim Ducks cards. Everyone wanted Kings cards, which I thought was funny because it was in Anaheim. But he said a lot more people looking for Kings cards.
That's crazy with Trevor Zegras.
That's what I said
wouldn't
too.
Be more hype there around that.
Yeah. And so overall, here's my thoughts on the Burbank Card Show. I think it was a fantastically run show. Besides that huge line that kind of stinks, but I don't know how you control that because you had to go through security. You had to get wanded and then your backpack searched. So that's why it took so long to get in. But I think the logistics and how they ran it inside were fantastic for how many people were there. I thought it was a great show. Never got crowded. I just think they did a really nice job at the setup. And if you know who Burbank Cards are, they're pretty big on Instagram. It's like one of the biggest card shops, I'm guessing, in the U.S., maybe in the world. But the main guy there, I think his name's Rob. I actually watched him. He actually was at the back of that line when it was 500 people deep, and he just hung out back there and talked to people. So that's stuff that's really cool to see. I mean, he definitely got it. I saw him. I mean, he was on the floor constantly. I saw him probably 10 times. Like walk by him. I'm probably in one of his videos. I think I went by one time when he was filming. But again, great. I think it was a great run show. Not a lot of hockey, which I expected, but I would definitely go back. But maybe you probably want to go back if you're more of a baseball, football, basketball guy. But hopefully hockey grows because I would love to go back to it.
Well, it's just got to get to 3 tables. It sounds like to grow.
Yeah, maybe. We got our banner. We'd sneak that thing in.
Sneak that in. All right, Troy. Good report. It's always fun when you do impromptu cross-country trips to card shops and card shows. We're going to roll into hobby news. We had a huge sale, a very, very big sale for a Connor McDavid Young Guns. Sold a few days ago at Golden, setting a record, Troy, not only for a McDavid Young Guns, but also for any Young Guns card.
Wow.
So the card we're looking at is a 2015 Upper Deck Young Guns McDavid High Gloss, which is out of 10. It's a BGS 9.5. It sold for $109,866 US. Like I said, not only did the sales set new records for both McDavid Young Guns and any Young Guns, it smashed them. The previous high for McDavid Young Guns was $50,400 for a high gloss out of 10 BGS 9 set about a year ago in August of 2022. And then the previous high for any Young Guns card was $54,000 US for an Ovechkin high gloss out of 10 jersey number set this past March. I can't remember the grade on that. Should have had it. But to go from 54,000 to 109, that is not a math show, of course, but more than doubling.
Yeah.
It's, of course, also the first Young Guns to eclipse 100,000 US. And it's the 8th highest publicly selling McDavid card of all time. So the 7 cards ahead of it are all either the Cup True RPAs out of 99 or Exquisite RPAs.
Okay.
Which I think makes sense.
Yep.
And then finally, it's only one of now 11 public McDavid card sales recorded over $100,000. So anyway you slice it, Troy, it's a really, really big card. Now I'm hoping you can do this. It is a BGS 9.5, and I am not a professional grader. I'm in no means qualified to judge anything on a card. But you look at the edges, like the bottom edge, all of the edges, the corners, and gem mint grade just feels generous.
It feels very generous. It's almost like this card like deteriorated while it was in the slab or something, because I, for the life of me, cannot figure out how it's got a 9.5. But
Look at the edge there, like the left.
Yep.
Yeah,
you can see the left edge here. Maybe it's. I don't think it's a bad picture. I think that's what it looks like. That's
the bottom
rare.
is worse.
Yeah, this bottom. Oh, the whole edge. Look at that. I mean, I didn't see that white down there. Sorry, if you're watching YouTube.
Well, and here's where this is relevant to me. Well, first of all, buy the card, not the grade, right? That's what we always say too. But remember, the highest previous sale for a McDavid Young Guns was $50,400 a year ago for a BGS 9.
Yeah.
And now this BGS 9.5 goes for more than double at $109,866. And if you're watching on YouTube, you kind of saw we zoomed in. You can go to the Golden website and check it out if you're interested in yourself and draw your own conclusions. But that's not a card that I would pay a gem mint premium for. That's all I'm going to say, despite what the label says.
Yep, I agree with you. It's I hope the collector, whoever bought it, just really wanted it, and that's what they added to their collection. But the only thing that comes out of this is like, okay, Bedard, you better start off hot, and when your Young Guns comes out in Series 2, this is your goal right here for the 101. If it gets pulled this year and you're playing well, you're gonna go for 109. You're gonna try to beat 100. Was it 109? Whatever it was. That's my new high mark, but we'll see.
So are you putting your money on Bedard?
I don't know.
To be the second player to have a Young Guns for more than $100,000?
No, I'm not. I don't know who would be the second player to have a.
Well, maybe if an OV high gloss sold again.
Yeah.
The record.
Yeah, agree. Well, especially if he beats, I don't know, the record. I still feel the record's baked in, but I guess if he does beat it and then that high gloss goes up, he could probably beat it.
Like I said, any way you look at it, it is a very, very big sale.
Yep.
And really great for the hobby. We need more higher end sales like this.
Yeah.
Not that we can afford them, but because it grabs attention.
Yeah.
When there's articles on ESPN about a Patrick Mahomes card selling for $2 million, that opens up people's eyes to football card collecting. So stuff like this, we need to keep pushing the envelope to, I think, get more exposure ultimately for hockey card collecting. So I'm very happy to see it. Okay, Troy, next story. The 2023-24 national TV broadcast schedule was announced by the NHL. And I'm guessing this is just in the US, but I think that's where a lot of people perceive the major growth opportunity for the game. So this, of course, is a litmus test if anyone in the NHL has half a brain. And I'm just going to say out of the gate, I think they got it sort of right, but not really. So opening night, October 10, as part of an ESPN triple header, and in the primetime game, the middle slot, we're going to have Connor Bedard and his Blackhawks face off against Sidney Crosby and the Penguins. So we'll have opening night, Bedard versus Crosby on national TV. I like that. That's a good thing. Then they're going to double down on Bedard. So the next night, as part of the TNT's coverage, he'll be playing again in Boston, I believe. So 2 road games. First in Pittsburgh, and then in Boston for Bedard. Right? Like it. But now we got to have faith that the NHL is going to feature their other marquee players in some of the key primetime games, right? So let's see a lot of Jack Hughes. Let's see Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Ovi, all these guys, right? Like the NBA does a great job of this. They have their Christmas games with always the best teams and the best players. And honestly, I almost fell out of my chair again. First of all, does the NHL hate Connor McDavid?
I don't know. Maybe they just
they refuse to acknowledge that he exists. Or so do you think on any of these opening night games, there's 5 in 2 nights? Wouldn't you? I get Bedard twice. I can get behind that. For one of the other 3 games, wouldn't you put your best player in the league on display for people?
I wouldn't. You're going to get to this, but one of the games I can see Vegas versus Seattle. I get it. And you probably say it too. I didn't read your notes, but they won the cup. So I guess they kind of earned the right to be a primetime game right away, or a marquee game. But yeah,
Nashville, Tampa Bay.
That one surprises. That one really surprises me. As much as I love Tampa Bay and their players, and I think Nashville's fun too. It's an exciting city, great atmosphere. But I don't know if this game's probably in Tampa Bay, but maybe they're just like, we got to have 2 Southern teams. We got to get everyone. We got to go geographically around. So we got the West Coast, we got Vegas, Seattle, we got Nashville, Tampa Bay. We're going to have the Blackhawks, Boston, trying to spread the love. Maybe that's what they were thinking.
You're overthinking it. And I'm not trying to I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to be super negative. I'm like Nashville or Tampa Bay. If they had the Wild in Tampa Bay, I would say that they're idiots. But again, you have Ovechkin, you have McDavid, you have Matthews, and you have Jack Hughes, right? Those are probably the guys that people would most want to see. And if any of the 5 games, none of them play. Now, the other game on TNT for their doubleheader is LA versus Colorado. So you're going to have McKinnon and McCarr when it comes to Colorado. But LA, what about Colorado Oilers? What about Colorado Toronto?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. This league baffles me to no end. It's kind of like, do you think when Michael Jordan was playing in his Bulls run on opening night, do you think the NBA wouldn't have put him as one of the 5 marquee games? Or Kobe Bryant? Are you kidding me?
Well, I'm wondering, and we're talking about this from an American standpoint, right? I'm guessing TSN and whatever the hockey night in Canada, they're going to have McDavid on. But I agree.
It's kind of like, do you remember when the whole Senators ownership thing was going on? We had all the celebrities buying in, and I can't remember the exact quote, but Snoop Dogg had an awesome quote about McDavid saying that nobody in the USA knows who he is. And he is a generational talent.
So I think we have a mailbag question around this kind of, but I'm not going to go fully on the NHL fault. A lot of it's theirs, but I also think the more I see McDavid on TV and talking, I just don't think he's that marketable as we want him to be. And the NHL's job is to figure out how to make him marketable. And like I said, I give blame to 90% of the NHL, but the more I see McDavid, I know he's a fantastic hockey player. I don't think he has a personality to be a face. And I think that kind of goes against him too. And maybe that's part of the reasoning. I don't know. But the best player should be focused on opening night or the first week of the season, at least.
Okay. I worked for a long, long time in the golf industry. A caddy, was an Evans Scholars, if anyone knows Scholar, what that is, and worked at Hazeltine National Golf Club here in the Twin Cities, where they've had the PGA Championship, US Open, was the caddy master there. And every year, Wendy's, the fast food place, would have their annual golf tournament, corporate event, right? And Dave Thomas, remember Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's, the guy that did all the commercials? Troy, the guy was 144,000 years old. He was the oldest human being I ever saw in my life. And somehow, through the magic of Hollywood and makeup, they were able to make this guy very personable and articulate and dynamic on TV commercials. If you could make Dave Thomas be a great ambassador for Wendy's, you can find a way to, with all the skill he has, to make Connor McDavid an ambassador for hockey. And I'm not disagreeing with what you said, but I think not showing him at all. And I even looked back like all their marquee games throughout the year, not one Oilers game in the US. We're gonna not beat a dead horse here and move on, but it just flabbergasts me. I don't understand. Okay, we had more athletes announced that'll be signing autos at the Fall Sport Card Expo. So joining the already announced list, go really quickly. We have Peter Forsberg, Caroline Ouellette, Pierre Turgeon, who you just said is going into the Hall of Fame in November, Mike Vernon, Ryan Getzlaf, Doug Gilmour is a big name, and oh god, is it Jerry or Gary Cheevers?
I think it's that's a good. I think it's Jerry Cheevers, but maybe it's Gary. I don't know.
I think it's.
Let me just do. Great answer. Great answer.
It's getting hot in here. The air conditioning has been off for a while, so that's my defense. Anyways, they just announced Paul Coffey, Wayne Cashman, and Jacques Lapierre were added to the list. Troy, unfortunately, I did notice that Ken Hitchcock has canceled.
Oh,
so are we still going to the expo? You have to go all the way to the bottom there.
Oh, canceled. Okay, I just looked it up. Gerald Cheevers is his real name. Is Gerald. Okay. So Jerry.
We'll spell it with a J, like everyone else. We know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, that's
of the new announcements, Coffee is going to be the biggest name. Yeah. One of the things, too, that I really like about the expo, and I can compare to my experience at the National, is almost everybody at the National was like $200 to $300 to get an auto. Paul Coffey, $49 for a regular item.
Yeah.
Which includes hockey cards. And then inscriptions are an extra $15.
Yeah.
So I think very reasonable. And that makes me happy. If you're a Paul Coffey fan, it's not going to cost you $200 to get a card signed.
Yeah, it's the hockey guys are very reasonable. Forsberg is looks like the most expensive hockey guy, but it's not like when we looked at Ric Flair and Tyson and Reggie Jackson. If you want to go play catch with him, that's spendy.
Yeah. The expo, of course, will be held in Mississauga, Ontario, November 9th through 12th, which Mississauga is a suburb of Toronto. Ready to go into new product releases?
I am. Let's do it.
So the ultimate checklist is out, Troy, for 2021-22. We're still in this weird period where we have, again, 3 different set years coming out. So 2021 would be the rookie hobby class that, of course, has Caulfield, Zegras, Sider, Raymond, Swayman, right? Those are probably the big ones. Well, this set is scheduled to release on September 13th. So we're going to, this week, I guess we're getting, for Labor Day, we're getting a week off of releases. Everyone to collect their breath. Let your credit card cool down a little bit, at least for 1 week.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
And if you're not familiar with Ultimate Collection, it's definitely a premium set. There's a possibility of pulling in some pretty huge life-changing cards. So the Connor McDavid Rookie Shield Auto 101 that's currently at Golden as part of their part 2 of the Golden 100, that card is from Ultimate Collection as well. Just to give one example, probably the ultimate, part of the fun example. But like we typically do, we're going to break down the checklist, try to highlight some of the most important cards in the upcoming set. So the base set's pretty small. There's 75 veterans and 25 legends. Legends include Gretzky, Lemieux, Messier, Hasek, Brodeur, probably some of the biggest names. Then there is a drop-off, though. So this is going to be, like all these premium products, very hit or miss. So in the Legends, Troy, we have a couple of notable ones. Shane Corson and Heater.
Oh, Danny Healy.
Heater made it into the legendary status for Ultimate Collection.
I can't wait for Phil Kessel when he makes legendary status in these cards.
Oh, yeah. Base cards are numbered out of 149, and then they have, looks like 3 parallels. So there's a gold out of 35, purple out of 50, and a black out of 5. Vets and Legends will also, of course, have autos and autos plus relics. Very beautiful cards. Autos for Vets are 1 out of 9 boxes. Autos for Legends are 1 out of 50 boxes. There's gold, purple auto parallels that are all numbered. There's a black 101 for each Vets and Legends. on the auto side. So you have 101 autos in Ultimate Collection. There's also auto and memorabilia cards. So jumbo patches like the one on our screen. If you're watching on YouTube, these are out of 3. There's Shield patch 101s, jumbo auto patches. Well, that's what this one is. It's a Kaprizov. And then I wanted to give for like actually go into the checklist for some of these really big cards and kind of give an idea of who the marquee names are. So for vets, when you look at the jumbo patch autos, the 2 probably biggest names are McDavid and Ovi, where McKinnon, Matthews, McCarr, and Crosby just have jumbo patches, so no autos. If you want the auto plus memorabilia, it's really McDavid and Ovi. There's also, of course, Shield patch auto 101s. With Legends, there's the jumbo auto patch 101 variant. So for Shield patch 101s in vets, you have Draisaitl, Mitch Marner, McKinnon, Austin Matthews, Cale Makar, and Sidney Crosby. The Shield patch auto 101s. So the last list was just the Shield is McDavid and Ovechkin. So they're bringing the big ones out for 2021 Ultimate. Then, of course, a lot of people are going to have interest in Shield patch auto 101 on the rookie side. So William Eklund, Logan Thompson, Trevor Zegras, Cole Caulfield, Jeremy Swayman, Mo Sider, Shane Pinto, Cole Perfetti, Anton Lundell, Alexander Holtz, and a few more have the Shield patch auto 101 cards. No Lucas Raymond, though. And I think Grant Sangrout had mentioned this when talking about what's upcoming a couple of shows ago. There's also a number of auto and memorabilia sets within Ultimate beyond the base. One new one is Ultimate Displays, that it's kind of like a play off of if you had like a framed memorabilia piece where it looks like there's a couple cards in it, a little memorabilia window, Oiler where there's is that a Draisaitl or not McDavid?
Not McDavid. It reminds me of like the inspiration when they did population count. They took that inspiration and did kind of the same thing where population count looks like a graded card. This looks like a memorabilia framed card. Or I don't know what you want to say. It just looks like memorabilia framed.
Doesn't really do it for me. It feels like there's a lot going on. I mean, sports cards aren't that big, right? And so they definitely fit a lot onto a horizontal representation of one card, but they are pretty rare. They're out of 3. I don't know. Do you like this card?
I like it. I know they probably can't because the window's not big enough, but is this a laundry tag? Is that what you're going to call it?
I think so.
I've never got those and it's just not for me, but yeah, I do like it. I like the design. I think it's pretty cool. I get what they're going for. So I like that piece. I'm not a laundry tag guy. So
a little bit more my speed in Ultimate are Ultimates, which are cards that have patches from 2 players that are both on the same team. So every team, which I think is kind of a cool thing too, has an Ultimates card. I went through the checklist again. Some of the notables are you're going to have for Penguins, Crosby and Malkin, Matthews and Marner for Toronto, of course, Pasta and Marchand for Boston, Suzuki and Caulfield and then Montreal, Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves in Chicago, McDavid and Draisaitl, Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle. That's kind of an interesting one coming out of Ottawa. You have Ovi and Nicholas Backstrom for Washington, and then McKinnon Makar for Colorado. Now, you said Phil Kessel earlier. I didn't write this one down, but I think it's kind of funny. There's I think it's from Arizona. There's a Kessel, I think Shane Gostebeer, who
nice.
Gostebeer, or however you
say
it.
I forget.
Neither of them play for Arizona anymore.
I know. Hey, Kessel won a cup, not doing anything. It's awesome.
You like these Ultimates, like these dual player?
Oh, yeah, I think these look really cool. Who do you remember the Wild? Is it Kaprizov, Boldy, or
Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson?
It can't be Boldy, right?
It was Eriksson and Kaprizov.
Okay, I don't know who else is. I don't know another exciting name on the Wild to pair him with, but
Sam Steele.
Oh boy.
Another cool and very popular card are rookie tandem shields. So this is even taking the dual player card to the next level here. These are out of 2 super tough chases. Some notable duo. So it matches 1 rookie and 1 key vet from the team. So you have Spencer Knight and Bobrovsky for Florida. Sorry. That's kind of a cool card, though, giving the goalies some love.
Little goalie
Where
love.
you have Lucas Raymond and Dylan Larkin from Detroit. So they didn't go with Sider. I wonder if they chose Roy Raymond there to make up for the fact he doesn't have autos
Yeah, maybe.
in the set. Another one that I think this one might be, well, I think it'll be the second biggest chase. Dawson Mercer, Jack Hughes. Probably more for Jack Hughes than Dawson Mercer. But then you have McKinnon and Alex Newhook from Colorado. And then probably the big one will be Caulfield Suzuki from Montreal. Ultimate Tray is not a big insert set. There's really only one on the checklist, and it's another rookie auto. It's called Ultimate Introductions. Base card has 1 out of 3 box odds. Then there's a showcase parallels or subset that much tougher chase. 1 out of every 100 boxes. These are numbered out of 5. So in this case, there's a Quentin Byfield one that we're showing. To me, those are the highlights. You can, of course, go to Beckett or Cardboard Connection website to see complete checklist with all these sets because players are moving in and out. Some players are in, some players are not. We definitely recommend doing that before you go and purchase some wax. So again, 2021-22 Ultimate comes out on the September 13th. That's next week. It's a 1-pack box with 4 cards, Troy. So here's the average box or pack breakdown. You get 1 autograph card, 1 relic card, 1 additional autograph or relic, and 1 non-hit card. So it's like a base parallel, or introductions insert. $150 US.
That ain't bad.
Basically the pre-order price on Dave and Adams. $250 Canadian on Clothes and Chara. So I actually did the currency exchange rate.
You did math?
I did math. Well, I did Google math. That comes out to $185 US. So once again, a little bit better deal in the US now. The tides have turned a little bit there.
I mean, $150 I actually don't think is that bad.
Yeah, I don't. I get
4
so
cards,
nervous on these 1-pack tiny card boxes.
Yep. But
then I was thinking, well, I would probably buy a box of Clear Cut for $120. So why wouldn't I buy a box of? And you can get a way bigger card in Ultimate than you can in Clear Cut. So I'm actually, believe it or not, a little bit pro Ultimate on this one. Probably another great breaking product.
Yeah.
That's an Ultimate, Troy.
I'm excited to see it. I actually don't mind the price point. I might buy a box for myself. I don't know. We'll see. Okay,
we're going to move on and do a quick mention for PWCC, which is a Gong Show partner and sponsor. Of course, many thanks to them for sponsoring our show. The current PWCC weekly auction is live. You can head to pwccmarketplace.com, see all the hockey cards in this week's auction. And after a 1-week hiatus, Jeremy Lee and I will be back in the saddle, Troy, this upcoming Sunday night on Jeremy Lee's YouTube channel, Sports Card Live, for our weekly hockey watch party as we follow all the hockey cards closing in the PWCC weekly. The show starts at 8:30. You can come chat with us about cards you're bidding on, ask questions, or just hang out. Did you see Jeremy at Burbank?
I did not, and I went by the tag booth.
They had a big booth, huh?
I went. Oh, they had it in the corporate space. They had a big basketball court set up for kids to shoot. They were giving stuff away. They were doing on-site grading, or end of show grading, I guess is what you call it. And then they had huge presence. And then the upstairs in the sports thing, I think they had another little display there, but they had a huge presence in the sport booth. No, I went by that. I went by the booth. I probably 25 times just to say hi and looking for him and never saw him.
You're stalking Jeremy.
I saw him.
Are you peeking over the? Where are you?
Well, I'm guessing he was extremely busy.
Well, don't forget to getting back to PWCC. If you're more of a maybe just the type to buy the card and not do an auction. They do have a fixed price marketplace with over 5,200 hockey cards. Again, that's all on pwccmarketplace.com. Mailbag.
Mailbag time. We need some sound effect or something.
But no. Lots of good questions again this week. Thank you all very much for chiming in and asking your questions. We're going to start from Instagram with Adam Luck. Can you get an inscribed Future Watch Auto from a Future Watch Auto out of 999 redemption card? This is a great question that I did not know the answer of. I guess I probably would have assumed it's just sort of random, but it's not. We reached out to Tony Sirianni, the product manager for SP Authentic, and he said that your redemption will specifically note if it's the inscribed version or not. So there you go. The more you know, Troy.
Nice.
Next question. Probably the question of the day. And I can't wait for your answer. From Instagram Nonstop Dave, is Troy going to throw in his hat for the Minnesota PWHL Professional Women's Hockey League team's goalie coach?
Oh, I love this question. Thank you for thinking of me, Dave. But no, I will not be. Too much other stuff going on with work, the show, coaching high school hockey. I love coaching high school hockey. As much as it'd be great to be like a pro goalie coach. I love coaching high school. Like you get to develop them into their college careers. So I'm happy where I'm at right now. And for any Minnesota people listening, Natalie Darwitz, big hockey name in Minnesota, got named as the GM.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to go on with her because she left the Gophers. She was an assistant head coach with the Gophers. And
she went to Hill Murray, didn't she?
She got hired at Hill Murray. To coach this year. So I don't know if she's now done with Hill Murray or what. It's interesting, but Minnesota people know like Darwitz is a legend here. She was a fantastic high school player, college player, all that stuff.
All right, next question. Instagram, Go Cards for Life. When will the NHL start promoting the game faces of hockey like other sports do? Hockey is global, but it's nothing compared to the global popularity of basketball and soccer and baseball and even football. When will Bettman be held accountable? The NHL needs a David Stern type ambassador. This probably has been mentioned before, but it's, I think, the real juxtaposition of why things have not grown to the level the sport could be. Just scraping the ice, so to speak, on potential. All right, Troy, you had a good response here.
Well, I agree completely with this question, with the sentiments he's giving us. The NHL has not done a good job marketing players and personalities, and we're not breaking any news. You ask anyone what NHL needs to do, and 99.9% it's market the players better. And especially now, we're at a turning point where we have some very exciting young personalities in the NHL. We have Zegras, Jack Hughes, even Connor McDavid. I've seen him speak in public, and he seems very personable. I think he's going to be fine on camera. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they're doing. We've said it before. Again, I will go back to maybe there's just some guys that aren't marketable, like McDavid. I've said it. He's kind of awkward on TV, on camera, in interviews. But again, the NHL's job is to figure out how to get around that and market your best player. But they also need to market these young guys that have attitude, personality. Young kids know who Jack Hughes, Zegras are. I coach young kids. They all know who these players are. They're doing their stuff on the ice, the Michigan goal, all that kind of thing. Bettman to me is such a robot numbers guy. And his one job is to make the owners as much money as he can by screwing the players as much as he can, is what it seems like. And I just don't know why he doesn't get that marketing these guys will drive the growth of the game. I just don't understand it. And I'm almost to the point now where I don't think it's changing until Bettman's gone. And I don't know when that's going to happen because it seems like the owners love Bettman. So I agree with the question, the sentiment. It stinks.
The only kind of like thought, right? Because NHL owners want to make money.
Yeah.
And by not marketing their players, they're not making money. So the one, I guess, justification or reason, albeit I think is totally flawed and terrible logic, is are they afraid of giving the players more control? Like NBA players have, and even to a certain extent, NFL players have.
It wouldn't surprise me. Bettman seems so anti-player, but he's 100% pro. He works for the owners. It's not like his job is to make the owners money. He doesn't really care about the players. I think that's how I look at it.
And honestly, I know the perfect solution, and you'll know it too as soon as I say it. All they'd have to do is hire whoever the agency is does the "It's Not Weird, It's Wild" campaign. Yep. They are amazing.
Yeah,
it's worth you if you're not from Minnesota. It's worth looking up. They are the goofiest, silliest, and they're all centered around the players. They get the Wild get all the players to contribute. They call Marcus Foligno Moose. That's his nickname.
Yeah.
They have him with like a hockey stick over his head and like jersey socks, so kind of like moose horns. They have him like getting out of a lake, like coming from underwater. They have Kaprizov and Zuccarello like screwing around with like coffee cups, and they're so weird.
They even do coaches. They have the one where Darby Hendrickson puts on 1,000 sweaters because Dean Evanson, the head coach, every time they win a game or something, Evanson always punches Hendrickson. You can just see them punching them, so they have one where they're doing stuff. You're right. You're right. Whoever, I don't know who the marketing agency is for the Wild, but they're fantastic.
Yeah, so it's possible. They just refuse to do it. Okay. Next question. Instagram, Isles Collector. As a devoted collector of Islanders patch cards, I can confidently say there is an agreed upon top patch for the Islanders. Does every team have a universally recognized top patch? Yes, I can see the oil drop, the Blackhawks feather, but I'm not sure about the others. I tend to think that there probably is one, and if I was interested as to what it would be, I would go look at really two cards, the Mega Patch cards or booklets, like you have for like your Pecorine. Those typically have the absolute best patches, and they're gonna put. So I've seen like with Boston, the little bear.
Yep.
Well, from what I think one of their retro jerseys.
What any part of that be though, with the line and stuff is cool. Like you said, my monumental patch of the Predators with the saber tooth of that, whatever. I don't even know if it's a saber tooth, but the Predator. He's 100% right though. The big ones off the top of your head, it's like the oil drop Blackhawks. I think the Red Wings that spoke, like the wheel, if you can get the wheel and some of the flame or the back of it, the back of that image is cool. But yeah.
All right, Instagram, we want the wax. How do you feel about Upper Deck using number 88 on non-game used, quote unquote, player worn jerseys for patches instead of the player's actual jersey number? I'm not really sure that I've heard that this happens too. I haven't seen where Upper Deck actually has come out and has said that they do this. So you may have more information than we do. I actually reached out to Upper Deck, but it is Labor Day weekend, so I'm not shocked we didn't hear back. So what they're getting at...
Yeah, I was going to say, can you explain this? Because I have no idea what this is about.
The number 88 makes the biggest patches. So if you had a player...
yeah, it makes sense.
Where if you had Connor Bedard put on an 88 jersey, and it's a player-worn jersey, you could have the most patch cards, and do it in a way that they couldn't tell that it was an 88.
You can't tell it's an 88. Gotcha.
So we'll have to get back to you at a future date there.
I don't like that. I'm just saying I don't like it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I don't really either. It kind of, there's like, you ever hear like those like lectures from a boss about like the spirit of the law and the letter of the law? And it may satisfy the letter of the law, but it doesn't need, I don't think, the spirit of the law. Okay, from Twitter, Sebastian Engelhardt. He has 2 questions this week. He said, David Adams Card World has 2122 OPG paper hobby on sale for $35 US a box. Still 98% of the deal remaining. Am I missing something? Troy?
No, buy. I would buy it all day. I didn't even know about that. And I saw this question. That's like on my list of dues tonight to see if that's still available. Because I'd buy a couple boxes. My best guess is they're trying to clear out inventory. Plus, it's been out a long time now. I mean, it's probably, I don't even know what the big cards are. If any of those are really truly.
Well, you get the 3D rookies and you get Platinum Preview.
Maybe those have been pulled. But I'm guessing they're just trying to get out of inventory right now because we're on 22, 23. 23, 24 is right around the corner.
Well, we're going to be on bated breath for Thursday's show to see if Troy passes on cheap OPG twice. And can you still call yourself an OPG fan?
No kidding.
Stay tuned to the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. All right, second question from Sebastian. I found myself picking up cards recently just because they have awesome game-used patches with no regard for the player or team. Do you guys ever do this? What are your top 3 teams that produce the coolest patches? I have not done the strategy, Sebastian, but I'm definitely not opposed to it. It's kind of an interesting sort of PC idea that I just never thought of. And probably my favorite patches are the Wild, because I'm a Wild fan. Then Blackhawks. And I don't know if this one counts, Troy, but I'm going to go with the retro Canucks patches when they had like the black, orange, and yellow jerseys.
Skate? Do you like the skate logo? It's like the liney skate.
No, I like more just like the very bold. Like I'm thinking like Pavel Bure in the black and orange and yellow Canucks, where it had like the Canucks was like a sun almost, and it said Canucks over it. I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up. Vancouver Canucks logos. Production on air meeting. Like this guy right here.
Yeah. Those
skate.
Colors.
That's a skate.
Oh, it is a skate.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, that's.
I never noticed that.
I like that. Okay. That's really cool.
I thought you were talking about maybe the stick one.
Like
older school one. So. All right, what's your answer to the question?
So I actually do find myself looking at this. almost bought cards, but I don't, because I stop myself because I'm more of a collector and have my PC, and if it doesn't really fit in my PC, then I'm pretty selective about those purchases. But I have found myself looking at really cool patch cards of other teams or players that I wouldn't have much interest in, but I've never pulled the trigger on them. But I like, obviously the Blackhawks are kind of the favorite answer for patches, just because all the colors, how cool they are. But I also like
best
the Red
patch
Wings.
in all of sports,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. And I like the Red Wings and Canadians too.
And he said game used too, so I think that's an important distinction with that idea. All right, next question. Instagram, the Real McCards. I get the rising tide lifts all ships concept with Bedard and the hobby, but what if he stinks?
Oh, I hope not.
So what I would say, Real McCards, is that would be a buzzkill for sure.
Yep.
No two ways around that. But I wouldn't see it as a death blow to the hobby for any stretch. So I think here I have 3 reasons why. Number one, beyond Bedard, this should be a really good rookie class. Are pretty hopeful about it. You have Fantilli, Leo Carlson, who all look, I think they signed right away, so they're, I think, favored to at least be with their club to start the season unless something happens in camp. You're gonna have Luke Hughes and Matthew Knives as holdover rookies, and then we had Logan Cooley signed too, and he wouldn't have signed and left the Gophers unless he was gonna play. And so just from a rookie perspective, that gives you 6 other guys at least, and then let alone people that surprise and come a little bit, that aren't as big names.
Yeah.
Then beyond that, there's you just talked about it a few seconds ago. There's a big pool of young emerging stars. Your Jack Hughes, Timmy Stutzla, J. Rob, a lot of young guys that are really you can be really excited about. And then if you need more, we still have Ovi, Crosby, McDavid, and Matthews to help push the needle forward. So I think it's not he's got to save the league or save the popularity of the league. It would be amazing if he's really good, but I think we would all survive if he isn't. You got a perspective on it, Troy?
Oh, I agree with what you said 100%. I was trying to look it up while you're talking. I thought maybe ESPN came out with their prediction for points for Bedard.
90.
Was it 90? I thought it was.
Which is kind of crazy.
Well, I thought it was 90, but then I was like, well, maybe it's 70 to 80. I was trying to look it up. I couldn't find it. But yeah, let's just hope that's true. But it would be a buzzkill if it stinks, but there's still some other catalysts to move the market forward, I think.
All right, next question. Instagram, Jets Collector. I'm not sure I exactly understand this question, but we're going to try. One card you could purchase on a free budget. What card and why? What do you think free budget means?
I'm guessing money doesn't matter, or just
someone
any
says
card. What's the one card you want?
I'm still obsessed with Glow Peachy. I look at them. Believe me, it's turning into a sickness. So I really want a Gretzky or Ovi one pretty bad. And then if literally I could get any card free, I'm also really digging the Gretzky Atomic Refractor PSA 10.
Well,
Frank had that at the show, didn't he?
It's crazy. This is just so funny. So I missed this question. I totally didn't see it in our notes. I mean, first off, my answer would be, the OPG Gretzky PSA 10 or PSA, whatever the highest one is. That way I can have all the money. But I actually would lean towards that Gretzky Atomic, and that came from seeing it in person. That card was so beautiful. I was just staring at it for a while. I don't know if I made Frank uncomfortable, but I was just hovered over his. No, I didn't. It wasn't that long.
Stalking Jeremy Lee, and stalking Frank's cards,
and not buying wax when I should have. Great job.
All right, next question. Instagram, the Loud Collector, our good buddy Phil. Are high gloss Young Guns case hits? I don't know. I asked Upper Deck again here too, and I did not get an answer from them. Maybe I might be overthinking this, but yeah, right? I mean, they're not going to put multiple in a case. They're going to want to spread them out.
High gloss are out of what, 10?
Yeah, but I don't know if there's enough to be considered a case hit. I guess I don't understand the rules of case hits, so that's a very long-winded way of me saying that.
Yeah, I think we had someone ask us once, are there case hits? And I've only seen a couple times where they actually mention case hit in the sell sheet. They don't do it all the time. They do it very rarely. But even in our interview with Billy, I'm pretty sure he talks about some card being a case hit. So there are case hits, and this would make a candidate. Young Guns out of 10, 100, however Young Guns there are. try to do the math of the boxes or the cases. Sounds like it could be a case hit, but we don't know for sure.
Okay, next question. Instagram, JB Hockey Cards. Is it too late to invest in Stützle? Been considering purchasing his Young Guns card and would like to hopefully save up enough money for his Future Watch Auto, but I'm afraid the train has sailed on his impact in the hobby. I don't think so. I don't think he's had his moment yet. I think he's been under the radar. And yeah, there are people buying him up. These big cards are going for a lot of money, but I think if you look hard enough and you deal hunt, you can find some nice platinum numbered cards. You can find a Future Watch Auto here and there that you can get a good deal on. So he hasn't had his sort of quote unquote like rocket ship moment in the hobby.
Yeah, I'm excited for Stützle just because you're excited for Stützle. I'm getting that like second hit, the second wave from your excitement. So I'm all for it. I hope. I agree with what you said there.
You just have to dig a little bit right now and and really think through it. Okay, Instagram, Cam's Hockey Cards. Thoughts on selling a card on multiple platforms at the same time? To me, it's really smart. I do it, honestly, a lot. You just got to be careful. So if you sell a card on one platform, you got to delete it from another. One of the cards in my personal pickups that I traded on my card post, it took me a day to realize I still had it listed on eBay. I'm like, oh, God. And, of course, hurried and deleted that listing there. Yeah. I don't know much about Mascot. It's that new platform that the guy from the collectible, like the that one company, what do they call it? Fractional ownership company went to. And I think that this Mascot is aiming to solve this problem where it's free to collectors. You list your cards on Mascot and it automatically publishes to every marketplace. So I think this might be, if they're successful, this might be becoming more common as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I list stuff on multiple platforms. You just got, like you said, you got to remember to take it off. I've went the other way where I sold something on eBay, had it on my card post and forgot like after a day. And I'm like, oh God, so I had to go back out there and delete it, make sure no one bought it.
All right, next question. Gongshow Discord, JT Hockey. Is there a way to look up past prices for wax boxes? Would be interesting to see what years or sets have gone up or down in price after release. Okay, Troy.
So this is one thing I wanted to do like a project on, and I have started it. Don't know if I ever will, but we always talk about this, like, oh, what was the price 5 years ago for the cup? And we had a masterclass with Mitch, and we talk about past prices, and that's when I learned that he used the internet Wayback Machine. Just Google it. You can put in a URL, say like David Adams, Steel City, and pick a date that they've taken a snapshot, and you can kind of find what the price was. It's not 100% perfect. You're not going to find everything, but it's one way. Also, I didn't remember the name, but I think I was having a Discord chat with someone asking about prices, and they actually used ChatGPT. And they said they did it because you remember ChatGPT, there's a way to be really successful with it, and you got to give it a lot of information. So you say, hey, I'm a hockey card historian. I'm thinking about looking up price, and you keep going. And then you say, what was the price of 2016-17, the cup? And it gave them the price, and it was right.
Wow. Interesting.
So definitely ChatGPT can be a resource if you can figure out how to use it. And then the other thing is just digging through forums. Comments on Checklist on Beckett's site and Cardboard Connection, where they do the overviews. If you go to the comments pages, sometimes people, oh my God, this hobby box is $120. What a ripoff. Or it's, you can find some pricing there. It's not perfect, but it's another option. I don't know. There might be some historical reference. TCDB, I've sometimes found it in like a note section for a release that's had a price, but maybe I'm just missing somewhere else that has it. So if anyone knows, please send it forward. That'd be fantastic.
All right, next question. Instagram, Ed Lister. Do you think you should grade your autos even though they are already authenticated? So I assume here, Ed, that you're talking about PSA because most of Beckett autos are typically graded. SGC a lot too, but maybe you might be talking about another grading company too. And if you want to maximize the value, we've been talking about this current trend with PSA where it seems like cards are getting a premium if they have like PSA 10, Auto 10 as the grade. And so, yeah, if you want to max the value, especially on a really huge card and maybe differentiate your card a little bit, like a big Future Watch Auto, where there are a lot of them and you kind of want any sort of angle or advantage to say, well, this is the top 10 or the top 10% or something like that, then you would do it. Do you have a perspective on this, Troy?
It just seems like we're kind of leaning that way, like you said, to the hobby. Might as well. If it's going to add a lot of value to your card, do it.
All right. Great questions. Thanks again to everybody for submitting them this week. We had a lot and love to see it. I always panic. I'm always like, crisis of confidence that we're never going to get any questions every week, but listeners come through. So really, really appreciate that. All right, Troy, personal pickups. So as tradition, we'll let you go first.
All right, I have one. I bought a card. I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show. I bought a card from Mitch Grotman, one of our masterclass professors on the cup at the Burbank Card Show. It is a 2013-14, the Cup, Mike Bossy Brilliance auto card. Nice. Very cool looking. It's 120 point. It's super, super thick. It was in this little plastic case, so don't mind the scratches. That's all on the case. The card's super clean. Looks fantastic. But the middle part here is see-through-ish, and it's like a little transparent, but his autograph and the blue ink's on top of it. But it's just a really, really cool card. It looks really nice. I loved it.
Are they numbered or no?
Nope, not numbered.
Okay.
But Mitch gave me a good deal, and so I bought it.
How many Bossy autos do you have now?
I said this one, I think, completes the bottom row of my case with Bossy autos, so probably 10 to 12. Nice.
Well, I'm still in the personal pickup groove too, Troy. Loving it. I did my card post trade the other day. It was a big one. I converted this time a pretty nice basketball card of mine into a nice hockey card, which very keen to do these days. I traded a Russell Westbrook Court Kings 101 Westbrook for a 2014 OPG Platinum David Pastrnak White Ice rookie out of 199. It's a PSA 10. Card is a pop 11 at PSA 10. I also really like the whole White Ice vibe. And actually made me think, I'd love for UD to bring back in Platinum, both blue cubes and White Ice. Maybe like Ixnay, some of these like Hot Magma or Fish Tank.
Fish Tank's gone, right? We got rid of that. We hounded them enough that they got rid of Fish Tank. Or what was it called? Aquamarine.
Yeah, I think it's pretty dope. To make the values work, I needed the other person to throw in another card, so we agreed on a 2021 Metal Universe Nathan McKinnon. It's a base red PMG out of 100. Nothing too crazy, but hey, it's a PMG. And that's great about my card post. You go back and forth till everyone's comfortable in the deal. And honestly, Troy, I think MCP is going to blow up pretty soon. I can't stop. I won't stop trading on there. I'm really getting cards that I love and being able to add my collection. I've also had to say goodbye to a few that's hurt a little bit, but I suppose that's the nature of making good trades. And of course, MPC is my card post is a sponsor. So take that a little bit for the grain of salt, but I'd be doing this anyways. And if you want to start making some deals with us and other people, go to mycardpost.com. All right, Troy, that's our show for this Monday. If you like the episode, please leave a rating, review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, want to chat with us every day on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, consider a donation via Patreon. Starts at $5 a month. You could join our on a $1.99 support level tier. There's a link in the show description, whatever podcast app, or on YouTube, within our Instagram profile and our TikTok profile and our link tree. You can go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, and click on the Become a Patron link, or the Patreon website at patreon.com and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. We are on social media, Troy. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And Troy, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a production of Dollarbox Ventures, LLC. Thank you all for listening. Have an awesome start to your week. If your kids are going to school, wish them all the luck in the world, and we'll chat with you on Thursday.